Hey, welcome to the episode 2 of the Oddly Unspecific podcast. I am your host, Zachary.
Ooh.
Anyway, I don't like this camera. I'm going to switch to the other one because this one looks way better. The only thing is I have to do some post editing to actually get the audio to sync up. I did notice that in the last podcast with Adam, like 2 hours in, the audio and the video were just not synced up, but it took like 4 hours for my, or 3 to 4 hours for my computer to export. So I wasn't gonna do it again because it was like 3 hours long. I have an issue with watching stuff that doesn't have the audio synced up, so hopefully that didn't bother anyone too bad. So while I'm on the topic of the first podcast, and this is the second podcast, I'm gonna be posting the full-length episodes on Friday, and I'm gonna try to go through and edit down a few select clips from each podcast and post them throughout the week, so just so that I have some extra content to kind of post. But I've just been busy. It was just the holidays, so now I'm just kind of cooping up. We cleaned the office, so it's really nice in here now, and I haven't come back in here because I'm afraid to make it messy. But yes, anyway, this episode is Cameron Gallagher. He's a great guy. It's funny, I actually haven't really known him that long. We haven't really talked that much besides this one time he came into work and we talked for a couple hours. It was actually pretty crazy. It made me wish we just started the podcast then. I know I do mention it in the this episode. But besides that, he's definitely a great addition to this. It's exactly what I'm looking for with this podcast, is just hear some people's sides of the story, whether they are people who do create or people who are just interested in creation. That's kind of what I'm basing these podcasts about. And I don't want to take up too much time, but I did want to go over a couple things. You can now officially listen to the podcast on both SoundCloud and the Apple Podcast app, which is really nice. It's always a nice alternative to just YouTube because you can just listen to it. You don't have to have the video to go along. And it makes for a lot less editing for me. I am considering making a Patreon. I had mentioned that I have funded a lot of this stuff myself. It's definitely not cheap to try to get this audio, and I'm working on getting some sort of set design. You'll see that in episode 4. Next episode, there actually isn't any visuals, so I'm going to try to figure something else out for that. But enough of me ranting. I think I pretty much covered everything. Without further ado, episode 2, Cameron Gallagher. All right, I started recording, but I'm going to just grab us one quick thing that's just actually just right behind us. Okay. If you notice, I got us these little Santa hats for us to wear.
Okay, let me see if I can get this on my glasses. Oh, I got headphones on.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, take the headphones off.
Let me see if I can put it, I can put them around the back of my head.
Put the head on. Ooh, I got that weird little colic thing going on.
I have such a fat head, so
I got the larges, and they're still like really small.
Yeah.
I guess this is about as big as it's going on my head. I can't.
Yeah, that's fine. I think mine works. Yeah, I can still hear everything. It looks a little high on my head, I think, but we're good.
All right.
Keeps my head warm.
So I'm gonna turn my chair like this and just have the microphone facing me. Okay. I forgot my water. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna have to cut this one just a few times.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, so that's the thing. Are we talking to the camera like it's an audience? Like I'll look at you, look at the camera.
I think we can just reference to the audience if we're just filling them in. But
okay.
For the most part,
I feel like it's gonna be really hard for me to not look at the camera or that way.
No, it's fine. Just if you want to just talk to me, it's fine.
Okay.
That's totally cool.
Maybe I'll try to turn this a little more then.
And then so everyone watching at home. This is podcast number 2. I still don't have a name for them at this moment. But essentially it's going to be a nice bunch of different interviews, I guess. If you didn't move this up,
I'm trying not to fine. I know it's going to happen. I'll put my arm up here. I'm going to bust one of these bulbs and then electrocute myself. And it'll make for great content.
Yeah, if you want, you can.
No, that's good. I just was I'm going to put my hand there, so.
Here. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, because I was like, I know it's going to happen. I'm going to put my arm up there, and I'm going to bust that right in half, and then, boom, that's going to be the end of everything.
Okay, and for you audio listeners, those who are not watching video, currently, it might not be Christmas for you, but is going to be Christmas for us on Tuesday.
That is right.
It is Sunday the 23rd.
23rd.
And so I have a very keen Christmas decoration going on. I literally just like last minute decided to do this. I wrapped the table in wrapping paper. I wrapped the microphone stands with peppermint wrapping paper, and then got little ornaments and lights and decorated up the whole place. And I even got Cameron a nice Santa hat.
The audio people will be able to hear that.
Yeah, every time we move the mic or touch anything, you just hear paper now. Might not, hindsight, not the best plan.
It's fine. I think they'll hear the Christmas spirit.
That just means that in the future, when next year, when I can actually schedule things out, so that way this will actually come out like on Christmas or near Christmas.
It'll feel more on par with what we
a
holiday episode,
and it'll be a little bit more thought out.
Fine by me. It's all good.
All right. So I guess the first thing to kind of address is who you are, because people kind of know who I am.
Yeah.
I know that we've only really talked a couple times.
Yeah.
And I wish we had started the podcast like way sooner, because that was essentially it. I was talking to Adam about starting a podcast or just doing anything, and then it's like you came into Ray Supply one day.
Yep.
And we just talked for like 3 hours.
That was way longer than I was expecting to go there for, but it turned out good.
Yeah.
And now we're here. So
yeah.
now we'll have a long show.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about you. I know that you kind of do like wedding videography and small jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I pretty much, so my main thing is I technically own what's considered 2 production companies. I split them up. They're really just me, but I split them up just for the ease of keeping marketing really, the same. Like I know it's kind of difficult to market like certain things to certain people. But so one, which is Black Tie Visuals, is strictly weddings. So it's like wedding. We do some like photography involved with that as well, but it's just 100% weddings. And then Black Mountain Visuals is like the corporate, commercial, narrative filmmaking, like all of the, like what I call like the super fun stuff. Like weddings are fun, but those are like the super fun stuff. So I do both of those, and they're both mainly me, but it is one of those things where like I'll hire other people and like work with other people depending on, and I'll get hired out by agencies to work with other people. So that's pretty much what I do. It's my full-time thing, so I just roll with that all the time.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like the weddings for most people are it's what makes the money.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then much like how working at Ray Supply is me, it's to fund being able to do those other projects.
100%. It's like like if I break down my business, and sometimes I'll look at like, okay, how is this part of the company doing compared to this part, even though they're 2 separate. It's always like the wedding's making a lot of money and a lot of consistent money, but it's like, these commercial jobs make a lot of money, but they're way less often. And then like the narrative stuff makes no money. So it's like, that's just whenever I get a chance to do it. And exactly, it's just like, it's funding it. So the weddings just fund all the fun stuff. So
yeah, definitely. I don't think I ever want to do another wedding again, because I can't recording a wedding, totally fun. If you ever want me to help you out, perfectly fine. But it seems pretty stressful.
It's super stressful.
Not only because people generally only get married. Obviously there's people get married multiple times, but
the expectation is once.
Chances are you only marry with that one person one time, and usually it costs a lot to do all that. So if you mess up, or if you don't get that like footage, or if you don't edit it the way that they want, and they've spent all this money, it's like, damn.
It's a lot of gray area, because I think for me it's like where customer service truly reigns. Like, it's like the money back guarantee thing, where like a commercial or corporate shoot or a narrative film, it's like, well, okay, if we don't really like something, we can just reshoot it, or we can do something different or change it, and usually it's at no, it's not at my cost. It's like, okay, well, I'm gonna charge for another day. Where a wedding, it's like you show up, you have one chance. It is what it is, and it is super stressful. But I think it's kind of like one of those things where I feel like every filmmaker has always done weddings as like a stepping stone. Like literally every person I know that is like a filmmaker in some way. Like, I mean, guys are doing like big commercials. They're like, yeah, I was shooting weddings for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So almost like it's like a rite of passage thing where it's like you have to do weddings and like learn that. And I think you also kind of learn like really good stress management because it is so stressful, but it's like you learn, you know, like I've been on shoots where like everything's gone horribly wrong, but I'm like, oh, like, you know, it's not someone's wedding, so whatever, it's way easier. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to miss their first kiss. Like, not a big deal. So I feel like it's almost actually like lowered my stress level. I mean, I don't know. I feel like maybe you felt the same way about some of that kind of stuff where it's like,
the most stressful ones I get are the ones where they're like really small projects. I've done these like little mini videos, and sometimes it only needs to be like a couple minutes. But it's the ones where I need to make everything from scratch.
yeah,
And that's tough because it's like not necessarily that you're just working directly with a client. It's when you're working with someone who is working with someone.
yeah.
And
Like you're like an ad agency, and then like they're hiring out somebody, so it's like there's like 4 different people to get like everything approved from.
yeah, but that's that's my personal take from
No, I've had the same thing too, and I would say I agree. Those are like for me, some of the weddings are the most stressful, and then like second to that are those scenarios where it's like, oh, an ad agency is getting hired by this big company, and then they're hiring like a marketing team, and then you got hired out by the marketing team, so you do something, and then like the marketing team doesn't like it, but the ad agency does, so it's like, well,
yeah.
who has the upper hand? Like, what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely think that anyone who's definitely been in that field can relate in some way, even if it's not something like a direct like comparison to that exact.
Yeah, I feel like it's just that idea of like you have people that are I mean, any job, you know, you have someone telling you what to do, they expect a certain standard. It goes for weddings, it goes for that. I think the thing about weddings that's really tough is that there are so many expectations from people who have no idea, particularly in video, what to expect. I think that's the hardest thing about wedding video is like, you know, everyone knows what wedding photos should look like. You know what I mean? Like everyone kind of has an idea of like, oh, well, a wedding photo should look like this. Wedding video feels so like new age now that like nobody knows what it really is.
Yeah.
So, you know, like grandma doesn't know what a modern day wedding video looks like. So when you give them like a highlight film and it's like 5 minutes, they're like, whoa, the ceremony was an hour. Why is it 5 minutes? And it's like, well, yeah, it's not that type of like, you know, I'm not wielding a VHS, you know, camera. You know what I mean? So it's so like, I think it's just such a different, the expectations are so weird and maybe non-existent that it's to the point where you kind of have to like train these people like, this is what you're going to get, and then this is what it's going to look like, so that they're not like, wait a minute. So
yeah, I definitely like would like taking that experience that you have from doing that a bunch of times throughout just the podcast. Man, I'm hitting all these lights. Would be able to like kind of branch that out into different genres too, because I'm sure that even for people that are listening that don't do video, I'm sure that they experience something like that, and I definitely hearing you say all that other thing, like hearing that is something that's like, oh, I relate to that. So that's definitely definitely.
I feel like in any like creative, I mean, obviously, like I've never been a graphic designer, like a web designer, but I've worked with some ad agencies and like some marketing companies that do a lot of that stuff, and they have the same problems. You know what I mean? Like I'll go to them and like we'll get, you know, comfortable and we'll kind of talk about some like, you know, just issues in like the creative world, and they're all the same. Like, you know, it's like the same thing. Like for graphic designers, like I've heard some of the ones I've talked to, they're like, yeah, you know, we go to a client and like they don't really know what to expect. So then when they deliver, they're like, oh, well, what about this? And they're like, yeah, but that's not what, you know what I mean, is expected. So I feel like there's so many similarities between the entire creative industry, no matter what it is. And I feel like it's so tough because there's not a lot of people talking about the bad stuff too. Like that's one thing that I hate. Nobody talks about like these, like, you know, like I was just talking to somebody the other day, and like there's all these like, oh no, that's like a Hollywood secret. You know what I mean? Like I hate that kind of stuff where it's like, no, like let everyone know about these, whether bad things or different things, because like I wish when I was just starting out that somebody would have like mentioned these things. I would have been like, oh man, I'll definitely avoid that, or like I won't do that. But
yeah, do you have any like anything in in particular
Oh
that
man, I got a bunch.
I figured that would be the
I'm
the
trying
answer.
to think. I feel like you know what? Oh, you know, okay. This is one that I feel like I don't hear as often as I should. Is that internships suck, and that they're terrible. I think they're horrible.
You think?
I do.
I feel like in movies it's portrayed that usually the internships suck.
See, I think it's true. And I think no, I'm not saying that your internship like couldn't be a good experience. I think that could totally be true. I think that in today's day and age, there's zero need for them. And I think you look at like perfect example is like the film industry, like the real film industry, like Hollywood movies, that kind of thing. It was always the notion of like you have to go to film school and then you have to like be a PA and like grab coffee for somebody. That's not the case anymore. You got guys making short films, going straight to Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's so much traction you can gain, and it's the same with like wedding films. Like I did an internship with somebody when I just started out, and I remember I started, and I was like I was, it was free, no money. It wasn't like a paid internship, so I'm doing all this work for no money to the point where I almost can't even have a job. And it's like, I can't do this. And like, I kept telling myself like, no, like it'll be good. And then like, I got an opportunity to get an actual job doing weddings. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. And like, they weren't exactly that happy when, you know what I mean? Like, was it probably the most professional thing of me to do? No. But at the same time, it's like, I just think, I wish someone would have told me, no, you don't have to have an internship. Like, just go for it. Just do it.
Yeah, and definitely for people that are out there looking for an internship, because either they just don't have the confidence in themselves to do it, or they feel like they just need some more guidance.
Yeah.
Don't really put too much into what you expect to get out of it.
Exactly. Expectations.
I did an internship, and I had all this expectation that I'd work there for a little bit, do some free work, and then eventually just start getting paid. And that's not at all how that works. I worked
exactly
for maybe 2 months for a graphic design company. Very nice people. They're actually local. And I would do all this work, and I would go for like an hour or two in the morning before college. And it got to the point where I was doing more work there than I was at my actual job. And I was only working. I was going to school part time. I was working quarter time, and I was interning another quarter time.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they were like, "Hey, we have this really big project. Do you think you could do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I could definitely do all that." And they're like, "Okay, cool. We're going to provide you with all the assets and everything you need. We need it next Wednesday." I'm just like, I cannot.
The problem is too is that realistically they should not even think of that on their employees. You know what I mean? Like that's the issue right there. Is like I think that's one of the biggest issues with the internships is like they look at like the intern as like, you're here to prove something, let me make you prove it. Where it's like that's not how it works. You know what I mean? Like,
and a lot of things that I learned, I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all what I was looking to do. Although I feel like that's the same with most jobs. Like when you're just applying to a job, it's like, oh, this place is this, and then you're like, why am I doing all this stuff? Like this isn't at all.
You learn like situational stuff, like how to converse with other people, or like how to work in like group settings. You're not learning like, oh, I've gotten better at whatever task I'm trying to do.
Like when because I was going to school technically for graphics, and I ended up just transitioning to photography and video, and so I would learn basic skills because of projects that we would do. Like we would have like an end goal, and throughout the way it's just like, oh, in order to do this is the next tool you'll need to use, and this is how you use that. And it's like, here's a small example, and now you can apply that to like a larger spectrum. And it wasn't really like that. They just kind of assumed I knew everything.
Yeah.
Even though I was in my second year of like college, I took like one or two other classes.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I was learning was like just their personal organization.
Yeah, and it's like that's not applicable to anything else except them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of the same thing with the wedding place. It was like I was learning how, like I was editing these weddings, but it's like I already knew how to edit. Like I'd already edited literally over 100 videos, not wedding, but just regular videos by then. So it's like I noticed that like I'm not learning any additional skills. Yes, I got experience being in a wedding situation, but after like 2, I was like, well, okay, like now I know what to do. You know what I mean? Like I watched what happened, so now I know.
Yeah.
So it was almost like, why? And again, I got the offer, so I was like, why? Why should I stick around? And I just feel like so many people, particularly young people, are like, you know, driven down this path of like, you need to do this, especially in the creative industry where there's like no real rules. You know, it's kind of weird. It's not like you want to be a lawyer. Well, okay, you have to go to law school. You know what I mean? Or you want to be a nurse.
Especially with like social media nowadays. There's absolutely everything's
internet.
just
There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing you can't do. Like there is literally, actually, perfect example. So like one of the best things I'd ever done, I would say probably the best decision I ever made in like my career so far. It's not that long, but was I went to an event called Masters in Motion. It was down in Texas. Awesome. I think I mentioned to you before about it. It was basically like a filmmakers convention, and you know, like everyone always said like, oh, you should network, and it was like, yeah, okay, like that sounds cool, but it's like I just like doing it on my own. And then I actually did network, and like these were like legit, you know, like some of these people are doing stuff way beyond me, like real big commercials, like, you know, $50,000, $75,000, you know, budgets and stuff. And I got to mingle with these people, and like, first off, it was just amazing. But like one of the things I learned that was so interesting was like none of these guys were like your typical like the story you always hear. They were guys who were like, you know what, I want to do something cool. I'm going to make something cool. They went out and made it, and then like pitched it or showed it to here, or did that, and that's how they got their career started.
Yeah.
And like I came back from that, and I was like, you know what, like, I want to really do more like the commercial work and that kind of stuff and push that. Because like I'd already kind of gotten into weddings enough where that was like consistent. And it was like this weird mindset change where it was like, oh man, like I don't have to wait for clients to come to me. I'm going to go find videos to make them, and then use those to then get more jobs. And literally from there, it just spiraled.
Yeah. I notice anytime I do that, it's my not only like my goals of what I'm going to be doing are more consistent.
Yeah.
But I just get more energy when it comes to actually doing these things. Like just starting off this podcast, I instantly got 20 people, and they're all saying, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, I'm for it. Way to go. When's the next thing?
Like, boom.
And it's like that itself is just more motivating. And it's like, if anyone were to just tell me like, hey, you should do this, I'm like, yeah, I should do that. And then like I end up just like going home watching Netflix, and it doesn't really get you anywhere. For like the last year, I mostly just kind of waited for jobs to come to me.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, I made these 4 things, and I just put them out there, and then I just kind of sit, and I'm like waiting for, it's like trying to fish, and it's like you're just waiting for something to catch the bait, and it's like, no, you need to like go out and definitely start the movement of your own career.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I've literally like, probably to my fault, I have like called businesses, emailed businesses, cold emails like all the time. Hey, I feel like I could make a cool video for whatever you got going on or whatever. And then, I mean, like 1 or 2% email me back, but 1 or 2% is more than I had before. And that's literally what I did is like I went out and I don't know if you know the tattoo artist Josh Doyen.
Yeah, I actually know him pretty well.
Yeah, okay. So I had come back, and actually this like, I made this like mini like documentary thing, and then I was like, oh man, you know, like I might think of something cool, and like I was like, Josh,
I think I saw
did you see
that.
it?
Yeah,
I did 2 of them actually.
Because I did his old photos.
Okay.
Yeah, if you ever see like this old magazine thing that he has like framed up, I took a couple.
I think
of
I actually had video footage of that magazine. Yeah, he's like, so I'm like, he does some cool stuff. Like it's so different, you know, like it's just cool. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, listen, dude, like I'll make you a video 100% free. I'm like, let me just show up, shoot whatever you got going on, and I'll throw something together. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, actually, we did like a trade. Actually, most of Brittany's tattoos.
Yep.
She has like 14 or 15 tattoos.
Trade?
And well, no, not trade, but she got them through him.
Oh, yeah.
And I have like a couple small, like I have this innovation like tattoo. Literally, it's like, it's all lowercase in type font, and then it has a period at the end. I was just like, this is very specific.
Yeah.
And it's like it would have been like the cheapest tattoo possible. But I think I'd end up doing like some photos or something like that. And
that's like the greatest thing to do. I've done it so many times, like barter. Like, you know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, listen, I'll make you a video if you want to do this for me. Like if I need something, like I did it with like a food place one time, and I got like free food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it gives you that content that then go to other people and be like, hey, listen, I made this video. do you want something like this? And then, then all of a sudden, instead of 1% of people saying, okay, then I'm getting 10%, and then I'm getting 20%. And then slowly, but it's like, I wish someone would have really told me, like, no, free work doesn't mean people come to you, hey, can you do something for free? No, because you shouldn't do that. I mean, most of the time you shouldn't do that. But free work is like you going out and finding free work. Like, what can I go do that's cool and like I need to show off?
Yeah, that's another thing. It's one, like, that's what I did when I got my internship. Is I didn't go to the internship saying, hey, I need an internship, I need to learn all this stuff. It's like, hey, this is some stuff I've done, how can I help you? Yeah. And that's another way of, sometimes it's just easier for a company to just provide you with, so let's say it's a restaurant, with $100 worth of food versus actually giving you $100.
99% of the time it is, because like for them, like one of the, I mean, even someone like Josh, right? So like if he does a tattoo, it's like, okay, well, it probably costs him, maybe like $20 in like ink or something and his time. So it's like his time is probably easier for him to be like, okay, well, I could take a hit on my like, getting cash for my time, but I could get this in value and get more, tattoo jobs because of it. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like that's what I was trying to do is like, especially if you're someone who's like young and trying to get into a creative industry, and then you're like, that is when you do that kind of stuff. Obviously, if you're established, I feel like then you might start hurting yourself. But I feel like if things are slow, go out and find one.
Yeah, I say the toughest thing is doing work for just publicity. Like, say that there's someone that's like popular.
Yeah.
Don't just do work to get shout outs. That's like that's tough.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it should be like, I feel like those types of things, like those like passion projects, are something that you should be like passionate about yourself. You know what I mean? Like not someone else's passion project. Because that's what I get all the time. People be like, oh, like I want to make this and this and that. And it's like, it's their passion project, but it's not mine. So it's like, listen, that's cool. And you should make that. But I can't make that because I should be focusing on my passion projects to help better myself. Not saying that I should be selfish and say, I don't want to make anything for you. You know what I mean? But especially if there's going to be no money involved, you know what I mean? Where you obviously have to live, you have to make money, you have to pay your rent, or mortgage. So it's, but I wish someone would have told me that. Like, no, free work doesn't mean it's coming to you. You go find free work. Yeah. And I feel like if someone would have told me that, I would have been like,
yeah,
it's like really like,
it's really strange. I feel like it's definitely gotten easier nowadays for people to just like tell you things that are like the secrets, like you were saying, like the Hollywood secrets. It's like literally when I first started, it was like all I was doing and all I thought I was going to be able to do is like make no money on YouTube and then find some job where I have to actually sit down 9 to 5 and be like kind of upset about what I'm doing because it's in the same realm of what I wanted to do, but it's not exactly the same projects.
100%.
And then like a year or two into it, I realized that there are people that are helpful and can give you like information and tricks and trades and all that other stuff that will give you a leg up into getting into like doing things yourself. Yeah. And it's not like just get a degree in graphics or design or whatever it is that you do and then just go get the next job. It's like it's kind of them saying that it's like I kind of make a joke that that I'm doing it right because I have no money and it's like taking forever because it's like anytime you really hear like a story from like some big Hollywood person, it always seems to be like, oh yeah, I was like 32 and like had no money and was like living on my friend's couch, and then it's like, but I'd like stuck to it and I like kept grinding. I was like, I was working on it for 10 years and then it finally hit me big. So like stories like that, it's kind of like, okay, so like I'm doing better than they were at this point.
Exactly.
So,
It's so true. I was thinking on the way here because I was kind of like,
that whole thing made sense. Like,
no, it totally did. Because I was thinking about this. I was actually thinking over here, like thinking some like different cool like things I have in the back of my head. Yeah. And like one of the like thing that is so true is you literally, and this is like I wholeheartedly believe this. You literally have to live and breathe whatever you want to do. And I'm like, it's messed up. Like obviously if you're someone who has like kids and like a family and stuff like that, like it's really hard, but like you have to live and breathe. Like if your significant other doesn't say like you need to stop like getting your head in there like that, you know what I mean? Like my wife literally like is like, Cameron, like all you like your brain is like so far into film, and it's like, yeah, I can't help it. It's like, you know what I mean? Like not it's like my fault. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not ignoring people, but it's just like, you know, like I'll literally like get in the shower and I'll have like the Script Notes podcast on. You know what I mean? Like
oh, you listen to them too?
yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah, I listen to Script Notes. Yeah. So you know what I mean? Stuff like that where it's like I'm constantly trying to ingest things. Of course, not taking away from my life. You know what I mean? You don't do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important that you do live and breathe whatever you want to do, because I think if you don't, I think you will fail 100%.
Yeah, it's one thing to live and breathe, but don't get too wrapped up in it, of course.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's the thing. You have to find that balance, but it's like the way I do it is like I obviously have found the balance of having a wife, having family, stuff like that. But at the same time, I've been like, I need to live and breathe. Like I can't, you know, like I try to take hits. Like, okay, you know what? Like maybe I could go hang out with like my friends and do something or whatever. But I'm like, you know what? I got this to finish. Or like I really want to make this short film. And it sucks sometimes. And again, I don't think you should totally bail on those types of things.
Yeah.
Because you want to experience things to then get better at your creative craft. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like you have to believe that you're going to be able to do it, and believe that, like, yeah, this is what I want to do with my life, and I'm going to make it my life.
It's also one thing to like set goals. It's
Exactly.
like if you don't like, obviously everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a big movie star.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm going to own like a huge company and all this other stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, everyone can say that, but like, what are you going to do to get to that point?
Exactly.
Like for this podcast or anything I'm doing, it's like right now my goal is to just have the next interview.
Yeah,
exactly. And just to be able to get like 10 of these out. Like I think if I can get 10
That's perfect.
of these done, that'd be great.
And you're always looking to get better too, and that's the best part is because then you do that, and then the next step, like everything that's happened to me so far has always been like one crappy thing led to the next crappy thing, but it got a little bit better, and then finally like things go good.
Yeah.
And it's because you like, you know, set up this stuff, you know, for 2 hours or however long it took. You know what I mean? And you're like, stupid thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's something that me and I think I touched on last time with Adam is that I will, like, people are always saying you just need to make stuff. Yeah. And sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I'm not making stuff, but I am. It's mostly I'm just not putting out as much, which is tough because if the more you put out, I feel like the better your audience will grow.
But it's also make good stuff.
Yeah.
And I've learned that the hard way, like real the hard way. Like when I was younger, like we used to make a ton of short films, like tons of them. Like literally, I think if you go on my YouTube channel, I think it's like over 100 videos, which I made since like 2000.
I was checking it out the other week. I know you definitely have like a lot of tutorials.
They're all crap. Oh no, that's my tutorial channel. Yeah, no.
Oh, you have a different one.
On my personal. Yeah, so I have my personal channel and my tutorial channel. The personal has like all the shorts and stuff I've done, or most of them, I guess. There's 2 that are on there, but they're garbage. Like each one is crap, but there was like one little thing that was like, oh, okay, that was a good idea, or like that worked, or I learned something.
Yeah. Or there's probably like 5 seconds of like, oh, that was great, and then the rest of it's just like,
exactly.
What am I doing?
But I feel like I used to like make all these things, and then what I started to learn was because exactly everyone's like, oh, make good content, like make lots of content, keep putting stuff out. It's like, yeah, but if you were to just like, you know, I'm gonna make a podcast, pop out your phone, just record voice memos, and then it's just like. But did you make something? Because you did. But did you do it good?
Yeah.
But you took the time to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. No, like there are definitely people out there that can make just really shitty stuff, but it's like but their style or the way that they go about it, it works. Like there's iDubbbz. Like
I know. There's a lot of people online
he does like these videos where they're literally just shot on like a basic DSLR. He has like just regular lighting as a table, and none of it's like really good, but his editing and his personality is what sells it.
Well, see, that's the thing though, but I think for him, it's like, well, he's doing his personality good.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned is like, take a step back from being like, okay, I'm just going to pump out content to like, no, I'm going to take my time, pump out content still as much as I can, but pump out quality stuff.
Yeah.
Because
also a lot of times where if you're just pumping out content, it's not like you're making money. That's just stuff to put out.
Right.
A lot of times when the people that do take the time to only put out one project a month or every other month is usually the people that are getting paid for it. And that's one way of actually stepping into the getting paid.
Look at the guy like MKBHD, like if you're into like tech videos and stuff. He comes out like a video like every like 2-3 weeks. There's some guys that crank out one a day.
Yeah.
But he's like the biggest tech YouTuber. I believe he is. So it's like, I
And
don't
his
know.
stuff's overly quality.
Yeah.
Like he shoots out on red.
Yeah, oh,
he
yeah,
has like proper
exactly.
lighting. Everything's like symmetrical. He has like someone making like really nice motion graphics. It's
And
like
that's why he wins those awards, stuff like that. And I think that's key because I used to get down on myself about that. Like actually probably like, oh man, it would have been like 2014, 2013. I stopped kind of like making films for a little bit. And it was because like I was like, I don't know if I'm like meeting the standard that I want to be. And I was kind of getting bummed out. Like, I'm making all this content, but it's like it's not good. Like I'm always like rushing through it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then I finally like was like, I'm gonna slow down. And like we ended up making like one project over like a year. And it came out way better. I mean, Granted, there's still a lot of issues and things that I hate about it, but it was like, oh man, like we took our time and we did something and it came out way better than I had hoped. And I think it was like, if our other videos were like 1s and 2s on a 10 scale, this thing was like a 5. And it's like, that's a huge jump where when each video we were making was like 0.75, 0.76, 0.7, you know what I mean? Like they were incrementally getting better. But then it was like when I actually took the time to do something, it was like, wow, like this is so much better.
Yeah. And another thing is, if you're one of those people that can make quality content, but you feel it's like lackluster, sometimes like producing content might be the best. Like I feel like I'm kind of in that realm where I'm doing this podcast for other people.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think that I necessarily like I have on camera like skills
Presence,
and like I can be there, but I definitely have friends that have way much better. I'm the worst with words.
No,
See,
you're being a
even just
producer.
right
The producer is perfect. I get exactly what you're saying. It's like the idea of maybe like I'm trying to think of something like, okay, like I could never write a book. Never. It couldn't happen. I could come up with a story for a book and I could be like I don't know if it's a producer in that case, but you know what I mean? Something like that. I feel like I could do that, but I couldn't write it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I get that where it's like, you like to brainstorm. You know what I mean? Like you're like the brainstorm
I'm like
team.
the idea guy. I have like an entire app where I have like 50 different notepads, and each notepad has like 100 bulletin points, and I'm always just like writing stuff down. The only thing is I take so long to actually create that content, and it's like I can't be behind the camera, in front of the camera, do the lighting. It's like I have like all the ideas. I know what needs to go into it.
See, it's producer. That's 100%
like,
producer. Like that is exactly the producer.
It's like this podcast thing. It's like I've spent 2 months working on this set. Yeah. I've spent a couple $100 just on this stuff. I'm not gonna make any money off of this, and if I am, it's not gonna be for a while. These mics are borrowed, and I'm looking to get spend another like $250 just on like mics and like having proper stands and everything, just because I want it to be really nice. And of course, this set is not going to be like the final set. I
still like it. It's pretty cool, though.
It is, yeah, but it's also like a messy room.
It feels so like legit podcast though.
That's the thing. It's like I've spent and I've been so frustrated with getting. That's another thing. If you're experiencing something and you're just having like the worst time.
Newton's law,
like
Murphy's law.
Murphy's law. Yeah, it's something that everyone's going through. It's the only way you can get better. If you're able to just make your content and not have any issues, it's like fucking good for you.
There's got to be some other issue though somewhere, because I feel like if
chances are you're missing out on something.
Yeah, exactly.
And like even just for the lighting, it's like I spent hours on it, and then getting the audio to work the way I want it to, and then realizing that like I want to have like this particular setup, and then realizing that I've bought 2 mixers in the last month, and neither of them have that ability, and the one that I would have to get costs like twice as much as both of them combined. So
it's tough.
It's like that. It's so depressing to kind of like put all that effort in, and then just be like, oh, you just cannot do this.
Yeah.
That's like an experience of a lifetime.
It's a good learning experience though.
Yeah, but it's coming along. I mean, everyone says that it's great, and I know that I just have to be okay with being able to hear like the vents turn on when the heat kicks on, or there might not be like that much noise, or like sometimes I'll like come up back here and then
I feel like we're loud enough though. Like I'm like on there, I feel like we would be too
No,
loud
yeah, we're a little low. Well, I mean, when I talk like this, that's
what
right,
I mean. For like to hear the vent though, we should be good.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's like one of the key things. Like, cause like you always hear these people like, oh, you need to fail in life and like fail. But it's so true because it's like when I really think about it, some of the biggest like crappy things I've done, not like in life, but like in film or in my case, I learned so much from those things and like really did where I was like, oh man, like I now, and I still do. You know,
and then sometimes if it's just don't try this, that's a good lesson.
Yeah, where it's just like, and also like knowing your limitations. That's a huge thing when it comes to, especially in the creative world, like know what you can and can't do. Now, granted, I'm like a guy who's like a fake it till you make it kind of person. Like we were talking before, where it's like somebody might hire me for this, and like I don't really know if I can do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. But I also like I'm also comfortable with some of those skills enough where I'm not like totally, in the dark.
That's how I started off with the getting the mixer.
Yeah.
Adam had passed along a job to do a live stream, and I was like, well, I want to be able to have multiple mics, and I also want to be able to like do multiple cameras.
Yeah.
But then my laptop literally just couldn't handle it, and I was prepping everything on my computer, on my PC, and it was working fine. And then I tried to do it on my computer, and you literally couldn't do it because in order to do it, there was like an OBS virtual camera, which would mimic OBS to look like a camera, and then your computer would use that for Facebook, where you actually just can't do it on a Mac.
That's so weird.
Because it's like they don't want you to, like, it's not hacking into their system, but they don't want you to overwrite what they are considering a camera.
Yeah.
Because they are thinking that it's not Apple.
Yeah, and you're probably doing something that's a little weird, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like most likely, it's not like the greatest thing. Maybe.
So what I end up doing is scratching all the different things that I told them I could do, and that was just like, oh well, you said you just needed this basic thing, so we'll just go with that.
We'll just go, yeah.
And it's like they were fine with it. They were like all the things I was telling them that I could do was great, and I was like, it was just unnecessary. But I went into it not knowing a single thing, and I was like, oh, I've seen all this stuff done before, so I'm going to tell them I can do that. And then I spent the next 3 weeks just studying how to do it.
But see, that's also what I mean about like living and breathing it. Like you spent 3 weeks like studying it. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of thing that I think people should be doing. You know, if you're into, like, I can't tell you, I've probably devoured every corner of the internet when it comes to filmmaking tutorials because it was like I wanted to just learn everything about it. Now, granted, I'm not going to need everything. Like my end game is like I want to be a director. It's my thing. Like I want to be a film director. It's what I love to do. So it's like I know I'm not going to need like every little nook and cranny of it. But because that you go and you search those things, you know, you may not need to know anything about this mixer in 5 years. If you were doing a podcast professional, like, you know, like a super high-end podcast.
I might just be able to go to a studio and just sit down.
But it's good to know.
Yeah.
How, you know what I'm saying? You know the technical aspects so that when someone comes to you like, yeah, you know what? We want to do a podcast with like 6 people. And you're like, yeah, I know we can do that because I know I've done stuff similar and I know how to work. You know what I mean? Like, you know those things so that when people maybe question you in whatever position, because it'll always happen, you know, like, no, I know this can be done because I've done it.
It's also really weird the different how bipolar you can be in this particular medium. And again, I know that there's going to be more than just like videographers and photographers and stuff listening to this, but I
think it's pretty applicable. You know what I mean? Like,
I definitely. It's so weird. Like I never thought I would be the kind of person that would dive into like audio.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I saw like something, it just caught like my attention so much that I was just like, I just have to do this. And I just dive into this one particular subject and I just learn as much as I can about it as possible. And it's like 3 months ago, never would have thought that I was going to have a couple microphones and a mixer and spending like all my money on it.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like you were saying with the living and breathing, it's like me spending money on video gear, media gear.
Yeah.
Is the equivalent of like me buying like a 4-wheeler.
It's a hobby. It's like your hobby is also your job sometimes. So it's like I'm in that weird space. It's like it's a weird hybrid where it's like I don't want a 4-wheeler. I want a sick camera.
I mean, I do have a 4-wheeler, but it's like ones that my parents bought like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I know my dad's got one too, so I like rip around it. But you know what I mean?
But it's the same thing. It's like jewelry or clothing or anything like that. It's like I don't even know where I got this shirt.
I'm just saying,
I
like,
think I got this shirt at TJ Maxx for like $5.
that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, I have just recently gotten like nicer clothing. Like, I've tried it like for like business meetings and stuff. But it's like other than that, like, I just have jeans and like whatever cheap shirt I have.
I buy jeans when my other jeans like fall apart.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when my clothes either don't fit me for whatever reason or tear. Usually they end up like the belt loops or something break, and it's like, okay, or I can't, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when they're gone.
Or when you start thinking of your items that you do need to buy to accommodate. Like when I was getting a car, like I kind of just was stuck with the vehicle that I had. But what I really want is like a truck, so that I can put like a cap on the back, so that way I can put all my gear in.
Yeah.
Because like I had like a Outback for a while, and that was great, but it was like old, and I like paid for it with like the money that I saved my senior year of high school, so it was like not the best. And so like stuff like that, it's like if I ever
it's taking your life over,
Yeah,
because you're like making like life decisions based
to
on like
accommodate, yeah.
Well, I'm the same way. Like when we like rented a place, so my wife and I were looking to rent a place, and we're like, I'm like, I need to have like really fast internet access, and I'm like, I mean, it's my job, so it's like I have to, but it's like that is a priority, which is like. Yeah, it sounds really like dumb and petty, but it's like if I want to be able to do, you know, if I'm because I do like cloud backup, so like I back all my stuff to the cloud. Well, I have to have decent internet to do that, or you know, I'll have clients send me footage. So it's like if someone's sending me 100 gigs, like I need to be able to download it in a couple hours. You know what I mean, or you know, sometimes minutes, depending. Where it's like those weird things, and the same thing. Like we have a Subaru Forester. It's got like I don't know if it's like a hatchback or what those are considered, but. Yeah, I did it like I can put my gear in the back. You know what I mean? Like it really does. Like it starts to like shape your life decisions. And that's a great point. That's to me what like living and breathing it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Now, I do want to touch on this.
Yeah.
You're younger than me, right?
I think so.
I'm 23.
I'm 22. I turned 23 in March.
And you're already married and you have a house?
I rent.
Oh, you rent a house.
I'm not that cool yet, no.
Okay. I was going to say, I want to know what that's like, because me and Brittany have been we've been engaged for 2 years.
Yep. Nice.
And we're not going to get married for another like year or two.
Yep.
And that's just like timing of what's going on in our life.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Everything like that. Obviously we got to save up and all that other jazz.
Yeah.
But I want to hear more about your personal life.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
It's basically that sounds so funny. No, yeah, so me and my wife went to school with each other. She's your age. She's a year older than me. And I had known her pretty much since I was in like third grade or something like that. Now, obviously we weren't dating in third grade, you know, but like I knew her since then. But we started dating when I was like 15, I think, and I think she was 16. And then we got married when I was 19 and she was 20. And it was just one of those things. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, you obviously know, like, you know, but it's just one of those things like, you know, when you find the right person type thing, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you didn't have that many options.
No, yeah. I was, batting people away. No.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, for me, like, it just felt normal. Like, it was like, yeah, okay. Like, I obviously, like I've always told people from like a dating perspective, like I always thought like, I would only date for the purpose of potentially marrying someone. You know what I mean? Like, at least in my mind, it was always like, okay, I'm going to look for someone who I would want to marry. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the criteria in my head. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's like a joke out there. It's like, hi, do you want to, frick, now I'm going to mess it up. I always do this.
I think I know what you're talking about, though. It's like a meme or something, right?
Hi, my name's so-and-so. Do you want to hang out this week in preparation or something? I forget what it is. I'm totally butchering the whole thing. God damn it.
No, I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, no, it is. It's like, at least that's my philosophy on it. So, like, that was the way I always took it. And I was just like, it was one of those things where, like, I just knew. It was like, okay, we're just going to get married. Like, it was just pretty, like, it just felt right, you know?
Yeah. I'm probably going to have to edit that part out because it was so embarrassing. Essentially, the joke is, do you want to date with the potential of getting married and be happy, or to just have a tragic loss and waste our time?
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, that's why I was telling you. Like, it's so funny because people are like, oh, man, like, you got married so young. And it's like, well, yeah, but, like, I feel like that means that it was right. Like, I feel like that means that it was on a fair path. You know what I mean? Where if we had met when I was like 16 or 17 or 15 and we were dating for like a really, really long time, like 15 years or something, and like we didn't get married, then it's like maybe we're not as compatible as we wanted to. Not that people can't get married. You know what I mean? People do their own thing. But.
Yeah, like I think me and Brittany have been together for almost 6 or 7
Yeah,
years.
so to me, that's like a perfect timeline. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when people tell me, like, oh, I've been together for like 15 years and like we're not married, well, it's like, well, like, do you not believe in marriage, or is it, you know what I mean? Like, we have friends that are like that. They just don't believe in marriage. Like, we have 2 that are like that.
Honestly, if you're gonna get married for any reason, it's just because you save a lot in like taxes and stuff.
You really do. That's like one of the greatest parts. Like, actually, and that kind of bring it into like it almost like goes into the business aspect. Like, it's almost better to be married because then it's easier for things like insurance, and it's easier for things like, you know, getting your taxes done, all that kind of stuff. So it's actually like financially worked out.
Yeah, and it's also another thing too. I mean, I know that me and Brittany have had a long engagement.
Yeah.
And I think when I proposed to her, it's just because I was like, yeah, I'm happy. And it's like, I don't.
Next step.
I mean, yes, obviously people will have arguments where they're just like, oh, God, I hate this person. I don't want to be around them at all. I just want to like go leave. But then it's like, if you literally just let yourself cool down, it's just like, no.
Yeah,
like,
right. Nah.
They make me happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, except for those couple of like whatever fights that you might have, and fighting is definitely a regular thing.
My wife probably wants to kill me 90% of the time.
I think that's like one of the biggest things that do end relationships is people just not realizing that like just because you fight, it's like it doesn't mean it's over.
Well, I think especially too like people in the creative industry, because I mean let's be real, we're weird. Like I know I'm weird. Like I know I do weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like my wife makes fun of me all the time. Like I have to sit there and I have to like come up with like really weird ideas for films and stuff, and it's like, or you know what I mean? Like your brain has to be like such a different like position, I think, than a lot of other people, and I think that can cause issues. Thankfully, it hasn't really been the case for Hannah and I, because
that is one thing.
She met me like that, so she kind of like knew from the get-go.
I kind of developed into this person.
Yeah.
Me and Brittany, we've known each other for a long time too. Mm-hmm. Like. We knew of each other because we both went to Hudson Falls. Yep. She went to Hudson Falls like pretty much most of her life. Yeah. She ended up actually going to your high school for like
2 years.
Like a couple months.
Oh, really?
Like she graduated from there, but she had
that's right.
She has family that lives there.
Gotcha.
So she was there. She was hanging out with them pretty often. Yeah. I forget where I was going with this.
You were saying about growing into that person?
Oh, yeah. So I was like, I wasn't originally like this whole media arts person. Yeah. I was just Zach. And she actually missed out on like a lot of what I was known for in high school, which was like track. And it's like when we started dating, it's like I had actually quit. And it's like I didn't know what I was doing.
Actually, though.
So it was like she met me where I was like literally not like a nobody, but like I had no extra personality besides just my day-to-day personality. I didn't have like any goals or any specific thing. So it's like it's kind of weird that she doesn't have any interest in like anything that I'm really into. Like she supports it, but she doesn't at all.
My wife's the same way.
Yeah, like she
hates most of it, honestly.
She does her own photos and stuff for like Instagram and stuff. Like she loves to take selfies. Not that it's like a bad thing. No. But it's like anytime and she always wants me to take like really nice photos of us. Yeah. Which is just like impossible.
Yeah, I know. Same.
And she gets really upset that whenever we're with people, it's like they always have really nice photos of them because I take them, but then it's like, here's my camera, just hold it like this, and then it's like not at all.
Oh man, we live the same life. That is the exact same thing. It's like you're the photo guy at like family gatherings, and then like when it's your turn, you always get the crappy ones because because we're not behind it. Like,
it's like I literally didn't change any of these settings whatsoever. Exactly every single of these other photos look the same. How did you manage to overexpose this image?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I was the same way. Like when I was in high school, so like right before. So I got really into filmmaking around like 2010. I'd been into it like when I was a kid, like VHS and stuff. And then I was really big into sports, track and football as well. And right after I actually met my wife, I had stopped playing because I wanted to focus more on filming and because I knew that I wasn't going to be like an athlete for professionally. Like I could have went to college for football, but it's like that's not what I want to do. Like I knew I wanted to do film. Yeah. So thankfully she had pretty much met me when she already knew that like that's what I was into, which granted, like props to her because like she deals with some crazy stuff. Like I just, because you just have to like, I don't know, you just have to like my schedule is weird. Like today, you know what I mean? Like I just do all kinds of random stuff. You know what I mean? It's like there's no.
Yeah, it's like just all of a sudden I'm gonna tear apart the office and
Yeah.
set up a podcast.
Yeah, like she'll come home and like I'll have lights set up. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta like do this like weird talking head of myself or something." And it's like, "What?" And it's just like,
yeah,
like I said, props. For
it's
her
also
for
funny because
putting up-
she probably knows the personality that she knows is probably very similar to how Brittany knows me. It's like no one else knows that because you spent so much time with that person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like either all day or all night and everything like that for weeks and months and years on end.
Yeah.
And then for you to all of a sudden switch to the personality that you do to do your videos, to do your tutorials.
Like I'm like, hello.
It's like there's probably a group of people that only know you for that. And then when she sees you as it, which I feel like it might be the same, it's like it's like you're a different human.
Oh, totally.
And it's probably weird to them, and they're probably like, "Oh my god, look at you! You're so goofy."
Yeah, right. No, I 100%. I even think it to myself, where like I'll like like turn on. I always say like I'm always have to be like on for like YouTube tutorials and stuff. And it's like when you do that, it's like, oh man, like if you could see the outtakes. So I made a video for my wedding company, and I'm like like talking, like it's like a talking head of me, and I'm like pretending I'm being interviewed, but I'm not being interviewed, it's just me talking. And it's like, literally, it was like me, like, yeah, like every couple, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, oh, shit. Like, I'd mess something up. And it was just like, you literally would see me go. And I was like, did that sound good? Because Hannah was like right there. And I'm like, did that sound good? And then I go back to like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah, that's the same with the most recent video that I made. Not only did I mess up recording it, but I think I recorded for like 25 minutes.
Even the tutorial was pretty long too, right? Was it?
Yeah, and I shortened it down to 10. So that means there's 10 minutes in there where, and it was funny because like at the very end I walk away from the camera, but then I walked right back and turned it off. And as soon as I hit start, like I started talking. So that means there's literally 10 minutes of footage where I'm I either flub a line or I'm just taking a breath, reading what the next thing I'm going to talk about.
Oh man, it's so difficult. I did one where it was like a color grading tutorial. So it was like and like I literally made like a 45-minute thing, and it got cut down to like 20 minutes, and I was like, what? Because like I went on like a whole tangent, and I'm like, I can't. Like,
yeah, the tangents are tough. I'm actually working on I want to make a show, like a proper like a show with different like segments and bits, and sketches and stuff. And I'm working on the first one right now, and it's like I pretty much have it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I wanted to add like vlog footage.
Yeah.
And I've already set it up so that I would like put the vlog footage in. Otherwise, it's like
vlogs are so tough, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, Cleo is just like she's trying to get up here. Sorry, my dog's trying to beg for attention.
It's all right. Everybody loves dogs. 4 times the amount of viewers because of a thumbnail with the dog.
Yeah. Oh, little baby. Come over here.
Actually, you know what? I have a question for you.
Yeah. One second.
I have an interesting topic that I feel like is not talked about at all for some reason in this weird way. I feel like, because you mentioned vlogs, there has been such a weird surgence in the creative industry. Particularly, we'll stick with I'd say more like photo, video, at least in my mind. I feel like graphic design, has made jumps, but I can't speak to those as much. I feel like nobody is talking about how there's like we talk about generations, like there's like Generation X and then like millennials and like Z or whatever. I don't know. However it goes. There is generations of like content creators and like filmmakers and photographers on YouTube. And I feel like I've never talked to anybody about this because I feel like I always think about it in my head, but it's like, do you notice that?
I think I know what you're talking about. Because
this is what I think about. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like trying to like put it in like a almost like I was trying to break it down, like the history of like this like weird turn, because it's so weird. And I was thinking about it more in filmmaking. So obviously I'm being a little filmmaking centric here, but it was like 2010 DSLR comes out, like Canon 5D Mark II with video, right? It like blows up, and like filmmaking becomes like the big thing on YouTube, right? Like everybody, well, I shouldn't say that. It's like starts working up with like Filmright. You watch Filmright, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, so like Filmright, like Indie Mogul was out before. So like these types of videos are out there, and then like so you had this like group of people, and I'm like one of these people that was like really like following those guys, and then like became like into like short films, and like that was like short films are their thing, and then they started doing like weddings or corporate commercial stuff to like offset that. Like
it's always the people that have a more professional goal in mind. And looks like my dog is just climbing right over onto my lap. So if the audio gets messed up, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
Okay. Hello, Cleo. Hello. Okay, there she is.
And then like that group, so like they went forward with like filmmaking as like their like.
And they're never really the ones that are the. It's always the ones that have a very like I want this to be like lit and shot perfectly. Right. I want it to have story. I want it to have meaning.
Right.
I'm gonna do something professional with this, and I'm gonna make a lot of money doing something else. And they're never the ones that are really big on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are kind of like, oh, we're the ones that are doing this like professionally and
like
correct.
Festival stuff, right? Okay.
And it's like they're the ones that are putting in the most effort for making like the least amount of not like actual profit, but like visual.
Yeah.
Like
it's like high potential. It's like buying penny stock versus like getting like really like Coca-Cola, like super like safe stock. You know what I mean? And then that's what I was going to say. And then like 2013, 14 comes around a couple years later, and suddenly tutorials become the big thing. Like, oh my God, I can be a YouTuber. And then like everyone and their brother has like a tech channel. You know what I mean? And like stuff like that. I feel like that was when like tech channels were like blowing up. And it was like
there's the transition to like vlogs. And vlogs usually come from almost anywhere.
It's so weird. And that's what I was saying to somebody. It's like, and then I don't know if there's been a swing just yet, but I was like, to me, those are the big swings I've seen. It was like, because before, like, I mean, like, really think about it. Before 2010-ish, what was YouTube? It was just like...
It was just clips.
Random, like...
It was the here at the zoo video.
It's like American Funniest Home Videos. That's I feel like that's what YouTube was.
And vlogging wasn't even really like... You didn't leave to vlog. Your vlogging was... My first video is actually called... My first vlog is called my fist vlog. I miscorrect it, and I refuse to change that I spelled it wrong. But it was literally just me in my room, and I had my camera in my hand, and I had one light just right here, and I just like kind of was talking about stuff. And then another one, like the second or third one I made, it was just me in my room. It was late at night, and I was just talking to the camera, and that was what I thought was a vlog. And it's like those weren't at all the videos that I was watching at the time, but those were the first videos that introduced me to what YouTube was. Like it was the people that...
It's so weird though. And like I feel like there's this like very strange
and now it's a lot of commentary stuff. Like I have a couple of friends that will be on the podcast. They'll be chiming in through like video calls because they're not from here.
Yeah.
But the video commentary is another whole nother
subject kind of.
It's kind of nice because it's like they're sometimes the people that just like react to videos, but then the people that actually take the step to actually like make it their own and like
make content based on reactions.
Yeah.
I think it's just so strange because I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and I was like, or I was trying to, but they weren't really getting it. It's like there's like these three generations. There's like the filmmakers, I feel like, and like photographers too. Then there's like the tutorial people, and then there's like the vlog people, and it's like there's these like three different like worlds of creators that all kind of like came in sequence
that are all in a similar like, and those are even in their own subcategory.
Exactly.
Because then you have like the random videos, you have the unboxed toy stuff.
Yeah.
You have the news people. You have the that just do sketch comedy stuff, but not really. It's like they're not really like an online presence.
Well, even the sketch comedy, I feel like they were those like early birds, like even like Smosh and stuff. Like they were super like 2010, 11 or something like that. That's what I mean. It's so strange. And one thing that I've really noticed that I think is so interesting is the mindset of all these people, these generations, and like how their mindsets are so different. Like I'll talk to people that are, again, I would definitely consider myself, because like I started doing the filmmaking like 2011 and that like DSLR revolution kid, like I guess what I can call it. And it's like I talk to those people and like their mindset is so like old school Film Riot, like Indie Mogul, again, mainly like filmmaking, like short film type, like centric.
The people who care about the quality.
Yeah, like very much like storytelling type stuff. And then there's like the like YouTube early YouTube generation of like 2012, 13, 14, where it was all about like making tutorials and like makeup videos and like all those types like tutorial based stuff. And like the YouTuber, and then like there's vlog, and like I see these people, and it's like it's so weird to watch like the same tutorial.
It's always weird to me when people do the vlogs that don't have a background with anything else.
Right.
Like I try to just do vlogs, and they were like nothing like my other stuff. I always just try to like do like switches and stuff. But it was literally, I would make those videos specifically for my couple of friends to watch.
Yeah.
And like I wasn't expecting like anyone
like
else.
a mass audience.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
And that's where like when Film Riot does it, or when Casey Neistat does it, or like when Roman Atwood, who did prank videos.
Yeah.
And it's like those people, they always came from somewhere.
Right, exactly.
It's like they had some sort of base that you could appreciate. Like even Casey Neistat, he started with films.
That's what I mean. So it's like they went like, oh, I'm going to become a vlogger because people, it's like Smosh. They have like vlogs now, but it's like, okay, well, they were always Smosh back then. You know what I mean? Yeah, I 100%. Where it's like people are just picking up vlogs out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like no one wants to know what you're doing.
It's like when Twitter, I always thought first came out, and everyone was just like, hey, using the bathroom.
I was the worst. Like literally, I don't know.
Walking outside.
I didn't use Twitter enough properly, and I didn't have the following to matter. It's like now when I use Twitter, it's literally just to talk directly to people,
right.
or it's to like retweet content that I like. It's like the only time I ever put stuff out is like for like literally just like that I know one or two of my friends are gonna see.
That's what I did. Like literally, Twitter for me was like it was my ability to like tweet famous people and hope to God that they would like it. You
can actually tweet at Ryan Connolly.
Yeah, I did. A bunch of times. I've talked to actually.
He always replies.
I tweeted him, and actually, my senior. I went to Greenwich my senior year. My senior English project had to be a paper about an interview on someone, and I actually tweeted him. I was like, "Can I interview you for my project?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So I talked to, I think it's his sister or somebody, Ashley or something like that, and she was like, "Oh,
is it the younger one?"
No, not that one. She's like one of the behind the scenes kind of people.
It's weird how many people there actually.
I know they have like I think there's like 7 or 8 kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I had like, she's like, okay, yeah, just get like all the interview questions and like email him over, and then he'll answer all of them. So my senior project was an interview with Ryan Connolly, and I was like, yes, like it was so sick.
And what's really cool is that like he like is known, like Film Riot is known through like so many people. Like they have over 1 million and so on like subscribers, and he still is able to like communicate with people. Like I know people that are on YouTube that have like the audience that is similar in size, but like
not to be heard of.
No one ever like you never just like they're more active on Twitter than he is, and they will never give you the
That's one thing I love.
Not that they won't give you the time of day. There's probably a reason for it. They're probably ambushed
totally get you.
Like all the time,
especially depending on what kind of like world you're in. Like I feel like filmmaking, everyone's like, well. See, that's the thing, though, is now I look at the film. So, I've been a long-time Film Riot watcher. Like, I started watching Film Riot, I think, late 2009. So, it was like, it was probably like maybe...
It was probably like 2013, I think.
I feel like I started watching them maybe like 8 months after they started. Like, they had a bunch of videos, but it wasn't...
Probably the teleporting ones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was like, I'm trying to think.
Or maybe it was the lightsaber, I think.
I want to say it was like... It had to be like 8 or 9 months after, right? Something like that. So, I remember back then, it was like... You'd watch the videos, and like obviously they were getting popular. They were pretty popular, but it was like the comments I would notice are so different from the comments now. And like I feel like Film Riot in particular has really changed a lot more than people think. Like in the film world, there's got to be people out there who are in the film industry that were Film Riot people. Actually, I know it for a fact. David F. Sandberg, the guy who directed Lights Out. So he did Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, and now he's doing the Shazam movie.
Oh, really?
Okay, so he got found by a short film. The short film was in a short film competition that was sponsored by Film Riot. Actually, we almost submitted to it back. It was like 2013, I think. And it's like, how crazy is that? Like here's a guy who's watching Film Riot and watching Bloody Cuts who put on the competition.
I always feel bad for like people that that are like known for making really good tutorials. That it's like they're
aiding someone else to do way better than that.
Yeah. Essentially, it's like that's like imagine if me or you became like a director in a movie, and it's just like I honestly can say that like stuff like Film Riot, is 90% of the reason why I even like kept going in this
I would argue 100% for me.
direction. Yeah.
Like literally, I think back to it, and it was like
we would have to have Ryan Connolly and Josh and all them like on set. Like, I have to. Like, you'd have to.
I'm not joking. So I said this to my wife. I was like, if I ever got the chance, not like I don't think I'd ever be even the like I've never probably win an award as a director just because of the style I like to do and stuff like that. But if I were to ever be on a stage where I could personally thank someone, 100% I would thank Ryan Connolly, because I really do think the same way. It's like, and Josh and the whole team really, because like if it wasn't for Film Riot, I feel like I wouldn't have. Like I watched Film Riot so consistently. Like, I remember it was like Monday. Originally it was Tuesday, Thursday back then, and then they changed to Monday. But I remember like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I was so jacked up to watch Film Riot, like knowing it was coming out. Or actually, no, it used to be only Thursdays.
Well, I was lucky because I started watching them a few years later.
Yep.
So I didn't like.
You just went back and watched
I just went back and watched a bunch, and it was nice because it's like I'm not like I don't like binge watch much. Like I'm not very consistent with watching any type of content on YouTube for very long. The longest running things I think is probably like when me and Brittany used to watch like people's content together.
Yeah.
And that's because like she'd be interested in watching it because she doesn't watch YouTube that often.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I just let something run in the background.
Yeah.
But like the coolest thing about that for Film Riot for me was like if I had like a particular goal in mind, I could like literally look into their catalog and find like the perfect tutorial for it. And then sometimes it was just like a random tutorial. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try that, and then put it like a super speed one that they did a few years back.
Yep.
It was like, well, now I have to make something using this effect.
Go back and look at my YouTube channel, and you can see the corresponding things that they were talking about to our videos. I literally will never forget. We got called out one time, which it wasn't like, it's not a big deal, but so Film Riot had done losses, and they did like in the losses they showed how to film the choke slam.
Yes.
Right. So
I use that all the time. Actually,
literally the week after, 2 weeks after we shot a short and we did the choke slam, somebody's like, "I just saw that in Film Riot," and I was like, "Yes, you just called me out."
All the time. Like I have in my little show that I'm making.
Yeah.
It's not really like a show. It's pretty much a vlog just with like extra steps.
Episodic vlog.
Yeah. So it had my friend filming me, and then I would like talk. I had lavalier on, and then it's like I would cut back and forth the skits and stuff like that. And one of the skits is like a little short that I made with like my cousin's kid.
I think I saw us. We like beating each other up.
Yeah, we were.
Yes.
He beat me up, and like we did the thing where it's like he did the choke slam. So it's like I stood on a box, and it's like I crouched down, and then he like lifted me up, and I like stood up. It's literally like 8 seconds long, and it's like
Film Riot.
It's like it's like perfect. Like the way that I shot it. And the way that it was edited, I thought it was great. It took me like 4 hours to do the whole thing.
I think it looked dope, actually. I really liked that. I did see that.
It was a little bit between Film Riot's techniques and then Raka Raka. They do like just insane. They have like videos like Halo versus Call of Duty.
Oh, they're kind of like
they're from Australia.
They're kind of like a Devin Supertramp type thing, or like a Final Cut King, like those guys.
Yeah, very much like Devin Supertramp, but like just bloody violent, like over the top.
Violent Devin Supertramp.
Like just over the top like
sweet.
Fight scenes.
Yep.
That's what they're known for. Like they're the kind of people that like they'll have someone on a zip line, like on like strapped to a zip line with like someone on like super kick someone and then someone will like fly off screen. Like it's just
that,
it's over the top.
Oh yeah. Kind of feels like Kill Bill.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's like really grotesque and they get in trouble for awesome. Just like being too violent, but it's like it's all fake.
Yeah.
So it's like
that kind of stuff really annoys me. I kind of hate when people are like okay, like if something's too grotesque, don't watch it. You know what I mean? Like that's why.
Like you can buy rated R movies through YouTube, and it's like why did they?
Yeah, right. Like you can't have like. Well, you know what's weird too? Like music videos can have like nudity in it.
Yeah, like there's the Robin. What's his name?
Robin, or is it Alan Thicke?
Alan Thicke. I don't know. I always get confused because his dad's that actor.
Yeah, I think he's Robin Thicke. His dad's Alan Thicke. Yeah, so Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines. That thing's filled with nudity.
Like straight up, like
full frontal nudity, I believe too.
And it's just, and anyone can just like watch it. Like it's not like obviously I'm over 18 in my YouTube account, but like I was shooting part of a music video just like in here and with my buddy Brett. Yeah. And it's like we were putting music on. So that way it's like we weren't just playing his song over and over again. He just wanted something to kind of groove to.
Yeah.
And like it was just auto playing like hip hop music, and it's like that
Boom.
video came on, and I was just like, what? Like I mean, I don't
Bitch
really
better have
care,
my
but
money.
it's like I hate that.
She's naked in that too.
Really?
Yeah, that's another one. They're like those are the two that
That's the
stick
thing.
out.
I'm not really like I love rap music videos. I don't listen
Yeah.
to rap or hip hop or anything.
I
So haven't
don't
really
listen
seen
to like those types of songs really, but it was just like I remember like so funny. This kid I went to school with, he used to watch them like all the time, like in the library, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna get in trouble. Like there's a bunch of nudity, but so that's how I knew.
Wow,
man, that was crazy.
that's insane.
That
Yeah.
kid was, yeah.
Oh man,
It's because it's art though. That's the thing is like it's art.
I don't remember how we got to this topic, but I also want to continue with this whole like what is and isn't in music and what you can get away with, and because of the Christmas theme.
Ooh, okay.
I want to talk about the "It's Cold Outside."
Baby, it's cold outside.
You know how
That's
all that
so-
stuff that's going on with that?
That's so stupid. I think it's so dumb.
It's really dumb. I totally get it. It does sound.
Oh, it sounds rapey, of course.
It
like,
does.
It sounds that way.
Like there's a lot of innuendos and like that it would make sense for. And there's a lot of parodies that people have made. SNL did one,
Yeah.
and all that other like weird.
But let's be real here. Let's listen to any rap song right now and tell me that they're not. I mean, come on. What did I just hear on the radio? I mean, okay, perfect example. We were just talking about it. Blurred Lines. Listen, that literally is about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you talk about you can't listen to Baby's Cold Outside on the radio. Well, I've heard Blurred Lines on the radio, and that song is bad. Like you want to think about like really like bad subject matter? That is literally not promoting. I shouldn't say that at all. That is like those type of like really, you know, I mean, literally, I believe some are like rape lines.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's
like
I
even
think it's dumb.
like even YouTube does it. Like with their YouTube Rewind, which we can talk about if you want to talk about.
Yeah, actually, I watched an MKBH video. I didn't watch a Rewind because I couldn't
you didn't
care less.
Oh,
But
okay.
I watched MKBHD rip it. So, I was
But
like,
they
yeah.
have like a what's their name? It's not Cardi B. They have a Cardi B song that's playing in it, and she swears and all the other kind of stuff in it, and it's like
come on.
But just because she's like a hip hop artist and she's like probably makes YouTube like a good chunk of change. They like remixed her song and put it in it. I'm just like,
they're not banking on Baby's Cold Outside. Nobody's making money on that.
yeah, it's like YouTube will not put in particular people in their content, but they'll put in like a song from an artist that literally like is talking about like just like I don't know, like getting money from people that owe them money and doing whatever it takes.
Think about like the song "In the Club," or no, I'm sorry, not "In the Club," or no, "Candy Shop."
Oh yeah,
50 Cent. Come on, okay, it's a great song, but listen, there is no hiding the fact. I remember being in like fourth grade. We used to have these dances. They were playing that song. It's like, come on, like that song. Literally, the metaphor is gone within 5 seconds of the first verse.
I remember when that song "Lips of an Angel" by Hinder.
Yeah,
I remember when that was really big. They refused to play that at the dance.
Really?
But they played that freaking T-Pain song with the apple bottom jeans.
Oh yeah, that's a good song.
They refused to play the Hinder song
but
because
Baby,
it was
it's
like
cold outside.
because it was like a slow song.
Yeah.
But it's like people just like you're okay with kids dancing to music that's literally talking about like a way of girls' asses. And
like drop your right.
like all that other stuff. But you won't let them slow dance.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it doesn't make sense.
I think the problem is too is again, it's like you're picking and choosing censorship of art, which I think is wrong. I think if you're going to censor it, then censor it at a median.
Yeah.
Like, listen, we're not going to play anything that is even remotely near this, but then don't play Blurred Lines, and then not play, Baby's Cold Outside. I think that's the problem is you have to have a consistent line of censorship if you're going to.
Yeah.
Because I understand that I can understand if somebody's like, you know what, maybe we don't want to play Baby It's Cold Outside that much because it sounds a little weird.
Yeah,
like,
but
it could
I'm
be taken
sure
weird.
if you were to make a music video for it where the girl is like bashful, but she's actually just playing along, where she's just like, oh, but I gotta go. But it's like
if she stood up and was like, "Do not touch me, I'm leaving." Okay, song ends, different story.
Yeah,
you know
obviously
saying?
you can take if you were to write out the song and just read it, it probably sounds really bad. But if you were to put it in context with like being sarcasm, sort of like you can't read sarcasm. Look at this dog.
Well, you know what somebody said to me? They're like, like you have to like schmooze people in life. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like it'd be a lot creepier if he was just like, "Hi, you want to go out?" You know what I mean? Like that'd be weird.
Yeah, but obviously they're not going to make a song like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But at the
that's
same
my
time,
point.
it's like she's it's yes. If this was a real life situation where someone was saying those things, and they weren't just singing them in a song that was written with a man and a woman singing it, and I mean, obviously there's cases where someone will sing a song just because they're kind of forced to.
Yeah.
So I can't just say that, but if you put it in the context that she's purposely playing hard to get, that's a normal thing.
Not only
like
that,
you don't just say like, oh, she's playing hard to get, like she's sewing skin. It's like that means she want like, no, it is a very common thing. Like you're married, you have a significant other. I'm sure she does it.
That's what I'm saying. Like there was a time where I had to like schmooze her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a normal, not in a weird way, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like you have to be, yeah, exactly. Like there has to be that, because if you're just like, hi, let's shake hands, yes, let's date. You know what I mean? Like that's like an official transaction. Like that's weird.
Yeah.
But I also think the only real creepy line in this song is, gosh, your lips look delicious. That's a little weird. That's the only one that I'm like, okay. Like if you drop that lyric, I think the song doesn't sound weird at all. That line, I think, is what is people are thinking is weird.
Yeah. It's super it's super like double standardy too when it comes to just where people like, I guess it kind of depends on where people are born and raised and what kind of environment they're around, because
well, think about is it Santa Baby?
Yeah.
Where it's like the woman's like, hey, like, come on, give me a car, Santa. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, like, that's kind of weird too. Like, you want Santa to like give you all this like weird stuff, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's
like that's another like perfectly fine, playful song.
Exactly. Take any song. If you break down any song, there's gonna be something bad that you could pull out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think the problem is people just need to chill out and enjoy the Christmas song.
Yeah, yeah. Like
nobody's doing anything bad. Like
it's so weird that like just because someone from a certain area, I mean, it can be the same way with the way celebrities are always shot down and getting like people are always getting so mad at celebrities for having a certain lifestyle or doing something specific.
They're rich, let them do what they want.
And it's like and they're like, oh, you need to be held to a certain standard because so many people. It's like, I don't know where you're from, but I know so many people that do this on the like regularly.
Yeah, right. Like worse.
Yeah, like
way worse.
It's like there's always the controversy with like celebrities, with like, oh, someone cheated on this person, and then they're like next thing they're blowing up and like, oh, how could this person? I'm just like.
So is like there's a bunch of people out there who do it every single day. You know what I mean? I'm granted it's not a good thing at all.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just because they're a celebrity makes it no different.
Yeah. It's so.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think it's. Oh man.
Yeah, I think content nowadays
be a whole podcast.
is so strange. Like even with YouTube shutting down a lot of channels and demonetizing stuff and copyright claims. I want to talk about like just because it's happened to me once where I had a song in my video for like 8 seconds, and it was like on the radio and my song and my video
I've gotten
got claimed.
Tons of videos pulled,
and which is stupid. But what I essentially would like to see happen is to have a you know how like Reddit, like you can essentially. Sorry,
I don't
if you
use
hear
a
my
ton
dog.
of Reddit, to be honest with you. I'm weird, I guess.
No, it's okay. But with Reddit, you can post pretty much anything you want there, as long as you're putting it to like there's like categories for anything. There's literally a category for where you can watch people die.
Oh yeah,
and it's messed up that it's on there. Like I hate gore, I hate stuff like that. It like freaks me out. But I read the information on it one time, and it was just like it was just saying that like this is an educational thing of just seeing the differences between realization
could
of
be news coverage in a way too. Like some people, that's not like, I know there's like a really nasty site out there, I can't think of the name of it, but it's like they're like a uncensored news.
Yeah, like Best Gore,
that's what it is. It's like uncensored.
I have a cousin
news.
that's like really into that, and it's like so weird that there are sites like that have been around for like again with like
8 seconds of a song.
Yeah, like there's gore, there's death, there's nudity, there's pornography stuff, and it's like all those sites have been around for so long, and they're getting around just fine. But YouTube is for some reason shutting down all these channels, not just the copyright content, but just for basic discriminatory like freedom of speech kind of like stuff.
That's I think one of the biggest problems that's going to come up is, actually, it's so funny. I was just listening to a podcast recently that were mentioning this. It's like the problem is we claim that social media is a free market or free place in general. Like it's the idea of like it's why everyone hates net neutrality.
Mm-hmm.
But then what I question is, so then you have companies like, for instance, like Twitter. I'm not a big fan of Twitter.
I like Twitter just because of...
Well, I'm saying their company thing. They're like their company
gotcha.
standards. Because this is one thing they do. So Twitter is like, hey, we support net neutrality, or like don't, you know what I mean? Like we need to have the world an open market.
But
and then they also ban people on Twitter because they don't say stuff they like.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't, because then that's not right. Because then what you're doing is you're saying we're all about net neutrality. We're all about an open, free market of the internet and it being a place where we can do whatever we want. But if we don't agree with it, it's not on there. You know what I mean?
It's like there's a difference between, there's freedom of speech. Of course, you can say whatever you want. But we're also an individual company, and this is our platform. So if we don't want it, it can't stay.
And that's the thing is like you can't have both. You know what I mean? Like I think it's the exact issue with YouTube. They're demonetizing things that they don't like. It doesn't reflect our company values. But it's like, but then you need to set those standards ahead of time. You need to, and I also think it's our fault because I think it's people like us and others that look at YouTube as it's a guaranteed medium of making money.
I think it's the biggest issue is that
we can't look at it that way.
When things become mainstream media, in
like,
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook's always kind of
it's
been
like the
that.
norm.
But I feel like I've never had a gripe with Facebook. Like overall, It's just a shitty website.
But they don't take down stuff for any reason. Like you can probably put hate speech on there and it wouldn't get taken down.
I think the environment of Facebook, the guidelines put it on there, it makes sense. It's like if someone's going to Facebook and they're literally just like being a total douchebag,
you can report it.
It's like I think that's kind of the mindset that Facebook has though.
Yeah.
Where it's like Twitter and YouTube didn't start off that way and now it's becoming that way.
Well, that's the thing. I really think it's really hard to explain because I think it's really bad for people, and this is kind of goes to our creative content thing. I think it's really bad for people to be like, I'm going to become a YouTuber forever and make money because we don't know if YouTube's going to be around.
No.
Who knows? Yeah. So I think the issue is that these content creators complain and say, why is my video getting taken down and demonetized? Well, I think the problem is you put too much trust in
something that's not even really yours.
Right, exactly. Like it's not your company, it's not your business, it's not it's not like there'll always be businesses out and about. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you get a job at the company might shut down, but it's like it's still a normal company where it's like YouTube is such a weird thing. I think we're putting way too much faith in it.
Yeah.
Like I get the idea of producing content on there, but it's like if I'm trying to think of a good example. Like if YouTube shuts down next week, people are going to be out of jobs.
Yeah.
Right? Like so many people.
Yeah.
Or if YouTube says, you know what, we're like, okay, remember when they were going to outlaw or
if Google just decides that only YouTube original content.
That's what I was going to say. Or remember when somebody tried copywriting the React video thing?
Yeah,
like
the
2015. Yes, right. Okay.
They try to coin the term React.
Yeah.
And so any type of video was posted where it was you reacting to anything.
Imagine if that happened right now. Like imagine that perfect example. Imagine if somebody
I feel like if they waited till now to do it, I feel like it would have went through.
They could have probably pulled it off.
Yeah.
But imagine the idea of a tech video tutorial got copyrighted somehow, like the format or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many people
you can no longer have
unboxing?
No, you can no longer show pans of an object while also having a voiceover.
Right.
So now you have to do something else.
So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what could happen? Because YouTube isn't a free place. It is a private company, or I guess they're a publicly traded company, but whatever. It is a company
owned by Google.
They can decide whatever they want to do with it.
Which is so weird because I feel like Google itself is not a hated company as much as YouTube is.
YouTube's extension of it, yeah. No, I agree with you too.
I mean, there's a lot going on with Google, of course. I love my Google Home.
Yeah.
I use it to control my lights all the time. And I know that they're recording my information and all that.
I know,
other
that's
stuff.
why I don't like Google.
But it's like, honestly, whatever they're doing to get
I don't really
information
care
from me
that
from the
much,
Google Home is not going to affect me.
Yeah.
The things that affect me are like the constant advertisement for the same 12 products that I've already bought and own.
Yep.
That
pisses
I'm
me
just like,
off, too.
okay, Google, just fucking knock it off.
Yeah. You probably turned it on somewhere.
Oh shit, yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually right there. Never mind, Google.
I don't think it did anything.
I saw it light up.
Yeah, no, I think it's that. I think that's the issue, and I think that's why that creative people in general should be making sure that they have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Not a backup plan, and not in creative world, because the
think
creative industry will always be there.
It'd be really smart if everyone that posts something on YouTube also uploads it to like Vimeo.
Oh,
Just because,
totally.
I know that there's other YouTube-like platforms.
Vimeo's
Vimeo
the
is
best.
completely different. Just for the sakes of, at least your content will also be there.
Yeah. Well, Vimeo though has actually been purging. So I know a bunch of guys that they do client work through Vimeo, like they send private link stuff, which is pretty much how I do a lot of mine. Vimeo has been deleting channels
That are inactive, or
that were taking like massive copyright claims. Like if they had like 3 copyright claims or something like that, they would like delete your channel. But the problem is a lot of people had like no idea that was going on.
It's so weird because I have like 2 videos that I put on Vimeo just for the sake of just putting it up there because they had like copyrighted music in it.
Yeah.
And they get way more views, like just natural views. And I know it's like you don't promote Vimeo besides just sharing it to people that It's like I have like no followers or anything like that. People just stumble upon it a lot faster.
It's weird.
Like
can we take a bathroom break?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
We can do that. I should probably try to take Cleo out too.
And we're back.
And we're back. We
like
just
those,
took a little bathroom break.
Yeah, much needed.
Yeah, me, Cameron, and Cleo. She's hiding underneath the thing. So when we left off, we were talking about
Vimeo,
and
That's
then
right.
my I'm adjusting my chair.
Yeah, you're good.
And I was going to mention that I think that there should be a site similar to YouTube, where you can upload any content you want. I mean, obviously,
within like fair reason.
There should be some guidelines set, and they should just be that. But you can pretty much post whatever you want. Obviously, there's no need for porn, no need for deathly gore stuff.
Yeah.
But you can pretty much post anything on there. And I think that if there's anything offensive, they just set it up so that a quarter of like the money made just goes towards like a charity.
that would it would be the ironic charity.
Like say that there's like someone that like makes suicide jokes. It's just like it goes to like a suicide prevention charity thing.
I like that idea.
Honestly, I think something like that would work, and I think it'd be enough to where like people honestly, if they just make it so you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Like on YouTube Red, it's like I guess people make the most money that they.
True.
Like from YouTube
That's a
Red.
fair point.
So I think I would pay $5 a month.
Oh yeah. I think one of the cool things that Vimeo has is like you can actually like sell stuff on there. So like you could like sell like a limited series or something. Like that's what we did for like one of the films we made. It was like an hour-long film. Oops. And we sold it on Vimeo for like $10 and like people bought it like not a lot.
Oh really?
But yeah, it was cool.
So it's like $10 a person, right?
Yeah, so like
how much does Vimeo make?
It was low, really low. I think it was only like 10%. So it was like you made like $9 like per $10. Like it was a really good deal.
Wow.
Like I would recommend for anyone. Like there's a girl I know who was gonna do like a her own like personal trainer, and I was like, you should do like videos.
Yeah.
Because you can do episodic content too. So you could sell like each episode for like $1.99 and then sell the whole thing for like $15.
I think Full Screen try to do that, right?
Might be. I feel like I've heard of that.
They do you know who Jack and Dean are?
That sounds familiar.
They're from the UK, Britain, Europe.
Jack and Dean. I don't know.
They make really high quality like sketch comedy.
Yeah,
stuff.
And that's why they did like sold it on there.
They put on Full Screen. I think Full Screen was like a paid subscription, but it was very similar. Now it's like, I guess they got really low views on it because people don't want to like pay for it. So they just put it on YouTube now. So you can watch like all like their first 2 seasons of this show called Jack and Dean of All Trades.
Oh, I feel like I have heard of that maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like Vimeo to me is like where filmmakers live. It really is. Like that is like
Yeah.
if you want to go watch like
And it's
music
like
videos and films.
experimental stuff.
Oh
too.
yeah, which I love though. Like
Sometimes I would get weirded out.
okay, this actually brings me into an interesting topic, and this is a secret.
Yeah.
This is a secret. I have learned a secret of the trade that I never knew and I never would have expected. Views don't mean shit. And I say that and you're like, what? Right? Okay. So this is something I never knew about ever before.
On Vimeo or?
In general,
Okay.
which sounds weird. Specifically, we're talking about films here. I'm talking about like narrative films, like short films, stuff like that. Films don't mean film or views don't mean anything. Now, obviously, like a lot of different stuff mean, it's totally different. Like vlogs, obviously, views matter. So, like my whole career, or my whole like filmmaking world has been like, I want to make short films that I can then hopefully make a feature film, right? Like it's like a lot of people have done it, and like it's been the thing. So, I never knew how this stuff happened, right? Like I was always like wondering, like how, like, oh, you must have to get like 1 million views, and then like suddenly you get found, and then like they're like, hey, you want to make a movie? You know what I mean? And it's like that's what my always was like my mindset,
Mm-hmm.
And every time we made films, it was like it never got the amount of views that we wanted, so it was always like whatever, like whatever.
Although, didn't you just get like one?
So that's what I was getting at.
Oh,
So this is an exclusive. I actually not talked about this on anything like
wow! Just amongst like, a
captured.
couple people.
Yeah, like I've told people like in person, and I can't say too much, but. So we put this short film out there. Actually, I can't talk about this one because this doesn't matter. We put a short film out there called The Forgotten, right? And The Forgotten was a short horror that we made for the My Road Wheel competition, which I think you were familiar with, right? Because I think we mentioned it, right? So we made it for the competition, and basically we didn't sell it, but we kind of did to Crypt TV. So like Crypt TV had the rights to put it on YouTube and Facebook, but not Vimeo. So I thought, oh, perfect, I'm going to put it on Vimeo.
Mm-hmm.
So we put it on Vimeo, and I submitted to this website called Film Shortage, and basically it's like a short of the week. Like it's a great website. If you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out. Short of the week is so awesome. They have like curated content like weekly, and like it is so good. But Film Shortage is kind of the same thing. Like they like showcase like a short film every day and like a short film every month. So, it was like $15 to submit, and I'm like, I don't know, do I really spend $15? I was like, screw it, whatever. So
I
like,
spent $15 on way less
right.
stuff.
That's what I thought. I'm like, come on, I get like $15 in coffee.
I
like,
spent
every
like
day.
$20 on just this junk.
So it's like whatever. Like I can do it. So we submitted it, and it was $15, and so it literally had like 5 views on Vimeo at this point, and I got an email from a management company, and I can't say who yet, but and basically they were like, hey, we really liked your short. Like, have you ever thought about doing more? And it was like,
It's the only thing I think about.
yes, like exactly, like that's literally all I think about, and that has now flourished into some other stuff that I can't really talk about, unfortunately. So it's kind of exclusive, but it's kind of not.
No, I get it. Yeah.
So basically, though, we are shooting, which this isn't like a exclusive, or this isn't like not knowledge or not no knowledge. We are shooting a proof of concept now for something else, and that is going well. We're done shooting, and the rest of it is coming up. But I always thought that views mattered. And
it just depends on
5
the particular views.
Well, you know what it is? It's not so much the particular views, press. So I figured this out actually from the Film Riot podcast. You're talking about this too, and it suddenly clicked in my head, holy crap, it's all about press. So what they said on Film Riot...
So that's like why you always see those not the Vox, what's that one? They're always doing the so on celebrity...
It's kind of like that, a little bit different. Like, for instance, like, okay, so let's say you were making like a film or something like that. Again, this is more like film specific because obviously that's what I know about. But you're making a film and you are like, okay, cool, we made this cool short film. I think it's really sick. Instead of just being like, oh, boom, here it is, like, watch it, you know what I mean, and share or whatever. What basically Film Riot had said that had worked for them, and what then I noticed personally worked for me so far was like getting it to like these like blogs and these like, for instance, if it's a horror short film, like horror blogs.
Getting other people to talk about it.
Yeah. And like and it's this press that seems to gather, like, again, like a film shortage. It's like, and short of the week, you can submit to that. So anyone out there, that's an audience, not if anyone, you can submit to those things. And like, if you get picked by those types of things, you have such high chance.
That's why all those people enter in all those like summer film
like
content.
festivals and content, right? And they're the people that get found. There's another one. I don't want to talk about this one too much because it's a little too related to mine to get into. But basically, there's another guy who I know who sold his short film and now it's becoming a feature because of a competition.
Wow.
So I feel like it's one of those secrets that I learned was like it doesn't matter about the views. Again, in a filmmaking case, it's all about who's watching it and it's all about press. It's like you want people to cover, and I feel like it's got to be similar with other means. Like it's got to be the same with like photography. Like if you want to, kind of like when I was like, like those like, there was like one that was like around Halloween time, like some little kid dressed as like a bunch of horror icons or something, and like went viral. It didn't go viral because the woman posted it on her blog and then like just shared it. It went viral because one of those like, viral like Unilad or something. You know what I mean? Like those like Facebook pages or whatever.
Okay.
Picked it up and posted about it. So it's like, I feel like I had this different mindset.
It's not about how many see it. It's just about the ones.
The quality.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was like, that was something that blew my mind. Because again, it was one of those things where, like, I always had the mindset of like, oh, like we're not getting 1 million views. What the hell? Like that's not going to help us.
Yeah.
And it's like, now here is this like opportunity coming up with 5 views. Like, I mean, like how ridiculous is that?
Yeah. I mean, that's the same. That's not quite the same, but similar to what I was saying earlier with, you cast a line and you just wait for the bait. It's just like, it's that big fish. It's like you can catch 100 small fish, but if you can catch just one big fish.
Exactly. And I feel like that thing, it really has like such changed my perspective recently and everything. Like, it's so weird to be in a spot where like these types of things could be like almost like life changing, like literally like life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's all from like these weird, like, I don't know. It's just so weird. It's hard to explain, but I don't know.
Have you been on a podcast before?
I have not.
Okay, so at least I can say that I was the first one.
You were on, first person on the podcast. Yeah, exactly. So okay, fingers crossed, everything goes perfectly fine. Somebody's gonna come back to this podcast and be like, "Now I know how." No.
Yeah. And then I'll gain success from that. That's
exactly.
what I'm saying. That's the
my
whole
goal.
point of this. It's not so that I can just gain success from I'm not gonna get successful because of this, but hopefully one of you people that I'm having on a guest will, and I can just tag along.
You know what? I'm calling it right now. If something big happens, hopefully, I will be like, I was on Zach's podcast. Go watch it.
Yeah. And then it'll be like, he only had 5 episodes. And you were the second guest. What is this?
That'd be perfect, though, I think.
Yeah.
No, but it really did, though. And I think it's like such a cool thing. Like I wanted to tell people about this because I feel like it's such a, again, it's one of those things that like people keep like a secret. You know what I mean? It's like you never hear that. Everyone's always like, oh, you need to get like 1 million views. And like you get, again, the idea of like you need to go through all the steps to get here, but it's like,
almost just like it's who you know. It's like post it online, get as many strangers to see it. But it's like if you know someone in the industry, and it's like that's why it's probably really tough to be one of those people like Ryan Connolly.
Yeah.
That it's like I couldn't imagine how many people just were like, hey, can you check out my short film?
Oh man,
that's why I think that that's why I think he limits like a particular amount, because I don't think he ever will just say that he'll watch someone's stuff.
He watched one of my shorts like way long ago. Oh. Like I'm talking like years ago though. But this was again when it was probably like less of people doing that. You know what I mean? Where now like I couldn't imagine.
I sent him a clip a couple months ago and it's God damn it, Maya.
What just happened?
My cat just knocked over the stand because she climbed on it. 1 second.
That scared me for a minute. I was like, what's going on?
Maya! Oof. Hopefully my bulbs didn't break.
Technical difficult. Physical difficulties.
This is what I get for being in the super messy room. All right.
We're good.
Get out of here, Maya. All it was this. There was just a cardboard box.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Maya, get out of here.
Everyone's still alive. Just an update.
Yeah. All right. Oh, this was the loud part. There's just this tape container.
Explosion.
Okay, so everyone that's just listening, my cat jumped up on one of those like
no one is
dinner
dead.
In a like those like
table
TV
tray.
Yeah, the TV dinner table trays, and it just tipped it over, and it just had
coined
like
that
some
name.
Yes. It
TV
had
dinner
some.
table tray.
Yeah.
Coin that. Coin that now. I like your cat, though. Just chilling over there. It's pretty chill looking.
She was up in her cat tower in the background for the longest time.
It's like, I'm out.
Then I got Cleo. She's just sitting below. She was sitting on my lap
Animals.
for a while.
Tell you, they sell. It'll be a thumbnail. Cat, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, she got a zip tie.
That's the crazy stuff, though. That's another secret. I wish I had a lot of other cool ones, but that's all.
That's a good one. I mean, definitely something to think about because it's, like I'm gonna have a couple more people on, like my friend Amir.
Yeah.
We've been online friends for years.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I first found his channel, it was because I was posting, some more like kind of vlog style,
Yep.
but like with a like stylized commentary videos, but it was mostly just like topical.
Yep.
It wasn't like I wasn't reviewing anything. So I guess it wasn't a commentary, but it was like a topical thing with just funny edits. And I only had a couple of them, but I would spend a really long time and I'd prep a lot of them so they're higher quality for being like someone's 5th or 6th video.
Yeah.
And I found his channel and he has like a sketch comedy channel, which it was. Like
That's
now
cool.
it's the commentary stuff. And I found him because the hashtag NewTuber on Instagram.
Oh, really?
So I didn't even find his YouTube channel first. I saw his Instagram. At first when I saw it, I was just like, these guys look kind of weird. But it's like they were posting a lot of stuff. And it's like I watched one of their videos on Instagram. I was like, oh, it's kind of funny. So I like went to his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I just watched all his stuff. And I added him on Instagram. I subscribed to him. And I was just like, these are hilarious. Like, these are, like, really funny stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just like, thanks, dude. And then, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now we've been, like, I don't know if his personal point of view, but he's been,
He's over there like, no, we're not friends.
but he's been, like, my online best friend,
Yeah.
like, for years now.
That's awesome.
And then I actually got to go to, he lives in California. So I actually got to go to California in September. And we went to Disneyland together.
That's sick.
Like
That's
me, Brittany, and then him
in heaven.
Him and his girlfriend Sabrina. We all went to Disneyland, and like
Lot.
just because of like YouTube, like well, I mean technically Instagram, but because of like YouTube, and it's like
It's amazing.
I made like a group chat with him and a couple other people, and it's like there's always times where none of us are like doing anything.
Yeah.
But then there are just like times where one of us gets motivated, and then next thing you know, we're all posting content, and it's like.
Yeah. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm doing. Like, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like it's yes, we are gonna be those yes men. Like we're always just gonna say, good job, this is awesome, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's just what you need. Because Amir started posting videos. I'm trying not to like talk directly into the mic. 'Cause it gets
I know it's really tough.
Um,
I'm doing those whisper videos.
yeah, and Amir like started posting like every single week, a couple months ago, and it's like he's gotten to it, and he tweeted out, he was like, "Hey, I probably won't have a video this week, been really busy." So me and my friend Tyler like sat down, ripped a bunch of his videos off of his YouTube channel, and made a best of, just so that he had a video to post that week. And,
that's sick.
And it was like now it's crazy because when I first found him, he only had like a couple subs, literally like less than 100.
Yeah.
And then over the years now he has almost like 2,000.
Nice.
And as a sketch comedy
that's a tough
creator,
spot.
and it's like it's such a saturated environment. The fact that he's like growing as fast as he is over the last like couple months, he's gained almost like 1,000 subscribers.
That's sweet.
And it's just amazing to see him grow. And then just from watching him do that, it just like put a fire under my ass. And I'm like, great, now I got to make all this stuff.
It's so cool to see like that kind of stuff because it does. Like when you see these other people doing cool stuff, you're like, why aren't I doing that? Like I could be doing something cool like that, or not in the same space. But
it's like all those. It's like when Vine got really big.
Yeah.
And then all those Viners became YouTubers.
Yeah.
And it was like they weren't YouTubers before, but it's like they just got like this platform, and they were good at that, and then it's like. A lot of them failed. Like a lot of them aren't doing anything now. But a decent amount of them made it work. Like,
and even bigger than before. I would even argue some of them.
Oh yeah, like there's David Dobrik.
Yep.
There's the Paul, the Jake
Paul,
and Logan.
Paul brothers or whatever.
And it's insane how they went from like these people that just like were known for making. I don't even know Jake Paul before. I just knew Logan, And it was just insane that they went from making 6-second content to being literally some of the biggest creator making the most amount of money
Oh yeah, there's
on the platform. And it's insane because anyone can do it. And I'm not saying that anyone can make just like can do a film riot quality. Not anyone can be like a PewDiePie because of a personality. Literally the content that David Dobrik makes, he makes 4 minute and 20-second videos, and he's not even in most of it. It's literally just funny, like crazy moments that he captures of his friends. So it's like, but he just has the ambition and he has the drive and he has like, it does take some skill, but it's like something that anyone could learn. But it's just, it's just that ambition and the drive is something that you can't learn that. You can't learn that.
Yeah, no, I think
like you just have to practice.
You have to find it almost.
Yeah, no one can just be like, oh, this is how that works. It's like, yeah, like you have to find it.
It's literally like cultivating it from yourself. Like you have to figure out like, okay, I want to make music. Well, okay, if you can play an instrument, great. If you can't, then you need to learn it. But then it's like once you do know how to have an instrument, well, I want to make my own music. Well, from a technical aspect, you have to learn that, but also you have to find the need and the want to do it, so you're constantly making that kind of stuff. And anyone can do, I mean, I would even argue anyone can do anything. Yeah. Really.
It's like what they say about comedy. It's like you can't teach comedy. You have to learn it. I mean, we literally just said that.
It, right?
But yeah, it's like you can't just tell someone like, oh, this is what a joke is.
Yeah, right. Like you can't like contextualize.
Like you can't just watch like a Louis C.K. bit and then be like, just change the words around. It's there's like the way that he puts his words, his feelings into like his words into a sentence and then expresses it. Yeah.
That's one of the things I hate most about some of the films that I see online is like I watch these short films and like I get like when you're younger you're starting from like a technical aspect and it's like, oh, let me learn like where to put the camera and like how to light and stuff like that. But it's like then you get to this point where you need to learn how to show emotion in your films or photography or design or whatever it may be.
That's where I feel like a lot of people start the same place I did like years ago. It's like like 2-3 years ago I would just make edits. Yeah. Like I would just like record some footage and then just put it to some music and it was like that's pretty much all it was.
It's a short film, right?
Like I have a friend who grew up in Lake George. Yep. So he lived right on the lake, had always had like cool adventures of like on a boat, like swimming and jet skiing, and snowboarding and stuff like that. And he was able to edit them and it's like he had a couple thousand views like per video just because it was like this is really cool. Like obviously his editing was it takes some talent to do some edits.
Of course.
But like regardless of the edit, I think his content probably would have done okay just because it's like that's cool.
Cool content, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, like I remember making like action shorts where just like me and like somebody just punching each other and it was like now I look back and it's like, oh, like I was learning technique, but it was there's no story there. You know what I mean? There's no, where now like I've learned to be like, no, I need to focus on the story, the emotion, all that kind of stuff behind it, because at the end of the day, that's what's the good stuff. You know what I mean? That's what makes good art or creative, whatever, art,
These animals, I swear.
You know what I mean? Like good art is art because there's something behind it. It's not just what it is.
It's the reason. I mean, obviously, if you look behind you, I have a stack of like One Punch Man and Dragon Ball and like graphic novels. Yeah. Like, but kids, there's a reason why kids coloring books, I mean, picture books have such little words, and then the more older you get, the more less pictures and the more words.
Exactly. That's a perfect point.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not like that. I'm just bad at reading. So if I have a couple books. Silly. But like I have like The Great Gatsby and then some like Frankenstein books.
I can't read anything.
But it's like they're only like 100 pages, so
it's honestly embarrassing. I think I have like a partial dyslexia. My dad's dyslexic, and I found out it's hereditary. So I literally cannot read. Like I'll read and I'll be like, I don't even know what I just read. Yeah. Like I'm so bad. I listen to audiobooks. Yeah. Like I just finished It. The Stephen King, novel.
Is it like the original one?
Oh yeah, like the full on. It's like 44 hours.
Yeah, that's insane.
The full 44-hour audiobook. It is insane. Yeah. It is. Oh man, I can't even begin to explain it. Like, do you like to like listen to audiobooks at all or anything like that?
Yeah, I've only listened to a couple.
Okay. Do you like it? Like, is it like intrigued you, like the movie or like the show or anything? Or
I've only seen parts of like the original one, and I haven't seen the new one.
Don't watch them.
Don't watch
first.
Read them.
Listen to the audiobook, because the audiobook is so good. Steven Weber, who I believe he was in the Shining remake, the 1996 or something Shining remake. He reads it. It is incredible. Like, it is one of those things where like I finished it and I was like,
is his characterization like really good?
Oh man, yeah. His character, like his voice, literally feels like it changes. And I mean, obviously it changes. He physically does it, but it's like I can so hear and see and feel everything.
A different person.
Oh man,
yeah.
And it is like the book blew my mind. It starts a little slow. Like the first hour is like a little bit slow because you kind of start off with like the famous like, you know, Georgie, like the boat scene. It's like, you know, like the pretty, like everything, everyone knows that. And then it goes into like talking about the one character, Stan, who is like the most boring character of the entire book, and they talk about him for like an hour. So once you get past him, the book becomes incredible. Like to the point where like I do a lot of like traveling for a lot of the jobs I do. So like I'll have like over the summer I was traveling to a camp a lot where I'd shoot a lot of footage of this camp. I mean, it's like a 3.5 hour trip there. So it's like there's like 7 hours of traveling just per trip, and I went like 2 or 3 times. So it was like I busted out a bunch of it there. Yeah. And like there was something so, like, this is gonna sound so corny. There was something so I'd never been to this camp before, and it was in the Adirondacks, and like deep in the Adirondacks. And
yeah, I've heard a lot of it like messes with you. Like,
oh man, like it was cool because I was listening to the book as I'm driving through this terrain that is new to me, and it was like it literally felt like I was experiencing like a new world.
It was almost like you were in a movie, I bet.
Yeah, like it felt so weird because like I'm driving through these landscapes. They're obviously beautiful. The Adirondacks are gorgeous. So I'm driving through the Adirondacks and I'm seeing all these new things that I've never seen before. And at the same time, I'm listening to this book that I've never listened to before, and I'm obviously experiencing all these new things. So it's just like when I think about my summer, like other than this film thing that we did, it was like that, and it was like me listening to this audiobook. And I remember like going to all these new places like really made me like inspired to like do different stuff, where I was like, oh man, like I saw this thing I've never seen before, and like I experienced this feeling that is like feels new to me. So like I would like drive around and like try to think of ideas looking at places I've never been.
Yeah.
Like I just like take a different road I've never been on.
Yeah. I mean,
weird.
It's so weird, and now you're probably cursed to every time you go back there, you can only think about it.
Which I like, though, because like it's kind of weird. It's like this weird, like the book has this very like nostalgic vibe to it. So like it makes you feel nostalgic, even though you're obviously just.
Or the next time you either read or listen to it, you're gonna just think about the mountains.
That's the thing, and like it's so
because that happens with me with podcasts.
Yeah.
Back a few years ago, I don't listen to nearly as enough podcasts as I did, so it's kind of funny that I decided to make this.
You're into making it.
Yeah. Because when I would work for my old job, I was in a freezer. I already kind of explained to them I used to make ice sculptures.
That's sick.
Yeah, so it'd be like I'd be in a freezer, usually alone, just because it was a small company, only a couple people worked there, for like 5-6 hours a day. Ooh, and so
prime podcast time.
So I'd have to have headphones on either way because I'm like the fans are loud, that keeps it cool, and then also like power tools. So it's like just popping a podcast or like an audiobook. I've listened to a couple, and it's like it got to the point where I would make a particular sculpture, and I'd be listening to a particular podcast with a subject, and then like the next time I was making that same sculpture, because there was a lot of times where we'd make a lot of the same ones for generic things. Yeah. And I would just like, if I didn't have something playing in my head, like in my ears for like a podcast or anything, I would remember that exact topic as I was doing, because I would be doing like a particular shape. Like say I was making a double heart for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like the next week I was making another one. I would just like that, whatever I was listening to
instantly
came back. And the same thing happens when I do yard work. So anytime I'm like mowing the lawn, or weed whacking or anything like that, raking, I'll have like a podcast in. And then it's like I'll get to a certain corner of the yard, and it's like I'll remember a conversation I was listening to.
That's exactly so. It's funny you say that because literally 2 days ago I had to drive back through part of the route that I was on in the Adirondacks. So not like the full thing, but like a part of it. And I remember like coming down the road, and I was like, oh yeah, this is when Beverly Marsh like smacked her husband with like the thing in the book, and like right here was when what was the other one? Oh, when or no, because it was all the same scene that I was going through. And then the second time it was like where Eddie, or no, when I was going to a different wedding, I saw when Eddie like met the leper. So it was like I knew it's the exact same thing. Like I wrote that, and I was like, oh my god, I remember exactly what I was listening to, like right here.
Yeah,
it's such a weird.
It's like I always thought it was crazy how like smell and taste affect your memory so much, but it's also weird. Like a particular band or a musician came on the radio, and it's like I used to only listen to the radio in my old car because I couldn't attach anything. Like I had a broken CD player, and then I tried the whole FM transmitter thing, but it just didn't work. So I would always listen to the radio up until like, literally like a year ago when I got my car I have now. Yeah. And like a certain artist came on, and it wasn't the same song, but it was like a really distinctive. She was like this girl. Her voice was like so distinctive, and all of a sudden like I just got flashbacks to like 2015, like going to college, because that like she had like a hit song that was out. It was always on the radio, and I was like that song, like that artist I just remember that one song, and that song instantly reminded me of that 1 year of college. Just driving to college and back, and it's like it was almost like you'd get in your car to go, and it's like the song would start, and it's like you'd get to work. I mean, like I only live like 5 minutes away from the college, so
it's like it'd be over by the time. So
it'd be either like it'd be over like halfway through, but then it's like I'd get back in my car like a few hours later after class, and it's like that same song would come on at some point. So it's like it wasn't like bad. Like I remember like there's a couple of different like songs like that, and a couple artists that were just really popular, and it's like
or like time chunks. Do you ever do that where it's like I remember, okay, so for instance, like during that same time I was listening to it, I was also listening to the Fez, the video game Fez. It's a sick video game. Soundtrack. And then it's like, so I remember like my summer was me listening to Fez and then it. And then like, my October was me listening to the Halloween soundtracks. And then like, you know what I mean? Like I was like almost like chunks of my life were like, oh yeah, I was listening to this a lot then. Yeah. Or I was really listening to this album or something then. And
I had that with, I was listening to the soundtrack to Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, because it's like, it's not like if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you don't think anything about their music, but then it's like if you just listen to the music in general, it's like this doesn't match the show at all. It's like it's like techno, and it's like it's like almost like grunge mixed with like techno.
I feel like
and it's like very synthesized, and it sounds like an old like Game Boy game,
like that's like an Atari thing.
And if you listen to like, of course I don't know if people can relate to this, but if you listen to like music from like Naruto back when like the first season, if you ever watched that,
no, but I know
it's very like 80s like jumpy stuff.
Oh man, listen, you gotta listen to Fez. Okay, right. So another topic. What's your favorite video game movie? What scores do you like?
Ooh,
I had to ask you this.
That's a tough one. It's actually funny because it's like I'm so like I can never really think about music when I'm watching a movie. So I instantly just think about movies that have like songs in them, like legitimate songs.
Oh,
like
that's
singing.
even soundtracks too. Like
but something that's really random is. It's totally weird because it doesn't actually have like singing. It has singing in it, I think. Mm-hmm. It's like it's an old Disney movie, and it's Brother Bear.
Brother Bear. Oh yeah.
It's I saw like a clip of it like last week, and I was like, damn, that it's like that, and it's very similar. It's Indian music, like Native American. So I shouldn't say it's like Native American, like chanting, like like chorus. And it's like because it's supposed to be like the spiritual stuff because it's turned into a bear.
Oh, I love that stuff.
And if you haven't seen Brother Bear, go watch it.
It's like we get a massage. They always get like you get like a professional massage. There's always like that, and then it's like like it's exactly so like Native American.
Like and I love it. And like the closest thing that I can say that's nowadays is the old Ghost in the Shell and the newer one how it has like this.
I think I saw or maybe I didn't even see the new one. Is that the one with Scarlett Johansson?
This is the one with Scarlett Johansson. Yes, you have
No,
to,
I didn't actually even see that.
if you watch the original, like the manga, not the anime movie, like the music in it is so insane. It's like, you know how in India, like the Indian music, how they don't have like do re mi, like they have like the different levels.
It's like I think it's a Dorian scale or something.
It's not the same thing. I'm just not culturally wise.
It's like, ding, 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 ding,
yeah, it's like weird because it's like they're like it's a choir of women, and it's like it doesn't just like it's like it has that in and out.
It's dissonance in it too. In like I know
it's like they have reverb without reverb. It's
yeah,
like just like the amount of like it's insane. It's so hard to describe.
It's like a tremolo type thing where it's like swaying in pitch sometimes, where it's like moving. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
too.
and I'm not gonna do it because my voice is terrible. Obviously, I can't do it anyway. But yeah, stuff like that is, I think is really
world soundtracks too. Like almost like you know what's cool, like Celtic. You listen to like Celtic music, like Celtic or like Viking, like
almost like.
What is that called though?
Like old.
I can't think of it. It's like old folk, like folklore music style. Like those are cool.
Yeah.
There's the movie The Witch, 2015's The Witch. That's got a sick soundtrack because they use like this like old instrument that's like it's basically a violin, but it's also like a piano. Like you play it like a violin, but it has like piano keys, and that's like how you or it's almost like it's like piano or like it's really hard to explain, but. It sounds like this, and it has like this weird like violin, but it's almost like this like key sound to it. It's so strange. That's a sick score. I love that score, and they have a chorus too.
Gotcha.
But they have this like weird like scary like they're all like moving in pitch. Where it's like like it sounds terrifying. Like it's so scary.
Yeah, I really hate that I can't like think of
like movie scores
because like the only ones that come to my head are like the really generic ones that have been like talked about, and that's like Dunkirk. I haven't watched Dunkirk, but I know like the score in that is
pretty sick score.
Is insane.
They used a watch, you know that they sampled a watch for the ticking. Yeah, it's like it's like they like I think he used the watch and like distorted it or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I know that Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, Hans Zimmer.
I think and then there's a couple like the Avenger movies have some neat things, but it's like, and then there's like the like Lord of the Rings and all that stuff. It's like very generic. Like I feel bad giving an answer because it's all the stuff
that's solid.
It's like the most talked about ones.
I listened to,
but that's mostly just because like I was saying like I just don't. I don't remember it.
Yeah. See, I'm one of those people that I legitimately seek out and listen to the scores. Like I'm weird, obviously. And film's my thing, so it makes more sense. But
actually. The Hunger Games actually has a couple of good ones.
That's a good one, actually. They got some good stuff.
I don't like the movies as much. I do like the concept of the movie. I like the books. It was actually crazy. Did you also have the same experience where as you were reading a book in school, like the movie would come out?
Yeah.
The next,
Great Gatsby. Yeah, I did it with Great Gatsby. We were reading Great Gatsby, and the Leonardo DiCaprio one came out.
Oh yeah, no.
Literally
what happened
right
with
in time.
2003, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah.
And then Ember City, and then the Hobbit movies. Those came out later, but I
reading them. They came out in 2013, 12.
Yeah, so it was at the very end of the year. I didn't read them, but I know that someone was reading them in school. And then the Hunger Games and stuff like that.
I didn't read the Hunger Games, but I do remember that being like, oh, it's the cool book now, and then boom, there it is, Harry Potter.
I thought it was super confusing because in the book, it's like we were reading it, and then and so there's I don't remember the characters' names, but there's the main girl.
She's Katniss, right?
Katniss, and then there's Peeta.
Here I am that I do remember.
Yeah, so there's Katniss, there's Peeta, and then there's the other guy that's like the Hemsworth brother.
I've seen the movie once, but maybe twice.
But yeah, so in the book, it's you meet Katniss and then the guy that's played by the Hemsworth brother first. And then you meet Peeta later on, and
so it's
it's like that in the movie. Guy? But then it's when you watch the trailer, and it's the first person you see is the guy that plays Peeta, and you don't see the Hemsworth guy. So it's you just like
assume that he might be so. Yeah,
it's like I don't know. It was super weird the way that they made it seem in the trailer, and because I was still like just starting out reading it, I was like I visualized all these people playing as those characters, and then I watched it. I'm like, oh,
and it was
those
different.
roles are switched.
That was one thing I really didn't like about listening to it. So I love the book so much that it ruined the movies for me. Like literally destroy like the movies. The miniseries I actually like more now that I've read the book. But the new movie, I actually really dislike now that I've read the book.
Yeah, I have that issue too with books and movies, and then extended versions of movies.
It's it's just,
because you're always waiting for a moment to happen that doesn't happen.
And not only that, it's just such a hard format. Let's like, you could never copy it to a movie. Like it could be a mini series, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. The original It was a miniseries, but it was only a 2-part miniseries. It needs to be like a 10-part miniseries, which actually
needs to be like a Game of Thrones. Although they fucked up Game of Thrones.
It's honestly like the way I look at it is it would have to be like a 13 episode or maybe even like 20 episode like what is that, limited series.
Yeah.
Kind of like
oh, you know what would be great?
I don't know, I can't think of one.
Is if so like with this podcast in particular, I don't want to like bury myself into like a specific niche of the topics, but I do want to eventually like branch out and like have different topics of like things, but I don't want them to just be like this is this podcast and we also talk about this stuff. So I don't know if making a separate podcast where it can just be random, or if I just have like one company styled thing, sort of like do you know Rooster Teeth?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, let's say like there's like an entire, I don't know, just a large company.
Yeah.
And then so it's like the Marvel movies. It's like they have Marvel, but then they also have each individual thing, and then each movie has its own timeline, but then they all converge.
Yeah.
Like I would either start like a podcast where it's like they just have different episodes that have different topics.
Yeah.
And they would just be titled something different, but they'd still be under the same podcast. Or if I should just have separate podcasts, that way people don't get confused. Because I know
I'd probably do separate podcasts. Because I feel like one thing I really hate is like there's a podcast I listen to called Halloweenies, and it's like all about the Halloween movies. I'm just obsessed, but again, weirdo. But anyway, and the problem is that like when they do like they had like a bonus episode that was like something completely different, and I was just like, I don't want to listen to this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm so like
I just know that as like a person where they I've seen enough channels where they start a like they have a like they start a channel and it's just called something.
Yeah.
And then it's like they want to branch out and do other stuff, but then it's like, oh well, I kind of tied myself into this genre because of my title.
Yeah.
Or they make like particular content and they get known for that content, and then they start putting other stuff on that main channel.
Yeah.
And then it's like
hate it.
And then it's like people either hate it and they're like make its own thing, or it's like everyone gets used to everything being on one channel and they're like, hey, guess what? This is now getting its own channel. Sort of like with Vsauce.
Oh.
It's Vsauce 1, 2, and 3, where it's like they used to just have everything on one channel, and then they were like, okay, this is more goofy, so we need to make its own channel because the rest of the stuff we want to be serious.
I feel like it depends on how far off you want to go. Like for instance, like if you had like, okay, we're going to be like a lot of creative people, we're going to talk about a lot of creative industry stuff, and then we're going to have tangents that go here and there. I feel like you'd be better off just sticking with one. But if you're like, we're going to do creative industry, and then I'm going to interview people that are like,
well, I want to have like a show, like a topical show. I talked about this with Adam.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's in that one, so I don't want to like just keep repeating the same content. We can talk about it later too. But I want to have like the interviews where it's like everyone gets their own story of like how they do things. But then I also want to have group conversations and topics. But I also kind of want to have like a game show. It's like, and that's totally doesn't fit in with any of this.
Yeah, I feel like those could all fit together though.
You think?
I think so. Especially if it's like, okay, this is like the interview type one. So it's like maybe it's like, okay, the whole name of the show, we're just going to go on a limb here and be like, yeah, the podcast is called the Zack Podcast, right? And then it's like, and the interview ones are like, hey, I'm going to interview you. That's like the name of the name of like that show.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's how every one of those shows are going to be like. And then the other one's like, welcome to Zack's Game Show. And that's like, so like when you know when it comes up on your feed, like, oh, welcome to Zack's Game Show. Okay, it's going to be a game show episode.
Yeah.
Or let me interview you. Oh, I know it's going to be an interview. You know what I mean? Like so it's like it's under the same podcast.
Yeah,
but each,
I definitely think
show has something.
I definitely think that interviews are fine because that's just introducing people that I'm going to have on. So if I do end up having a group game show, it's not necessarily a game show, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but everyone will be familiar with each person because you can't just dive into that.
You can go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's like the vlog thing. It's like you can't just start vlogging. No one's gonna care.
You know who they are.
It's like first you have these interviews, you get invested into the person.
Yeah, and then everyone knows like, oh, I know that Cameron does this and Adam does this and Zach's like that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, we know what these other people are about. Yeah. So when we have like answers or different things based on whatever, it's like, oh, they're coming from that background. Like that's why. So makes sense.
That's pretty much it. And actually, looks like we've been recording for about 2 hours.
Ooh, sweet.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Do you want to keep going, or?
I don't care. If you got questions for me, hit me with them. I can't think of anything else right now.
I can't think of anything either. That's why I brought up the time.
Oh, you know what? Okay, I want to talk. What are you working on? I'm interested in that. I want to know what you got going on. Something cool or anything cool? Or other than the podcast?
I have that idea for the show. So that's where the podcast is going to be like weird stuff because I want the podcast to be separated.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to put it on like the iTunes store and all the other stuff on Spotify.
Yeah.
But what I've always wanted, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, what the show is. Have you ever seen Attack of the Show?
It's on YouTube, right?
No, it was on G4.
Then no. Definitely don't. No.
Okay.
I thought there was one on YouTube called that, but.
So, okay. Have G4. You ever? Yeah.
Is that a TV show? Like a TV station?
Yeah, it was
that sounds. I think I know the channel, but no, I don't know the show.
Okay. Well, essentially, what I want to do, you know, Key and Peele.
Oh yeah.
I want to have a show similar to that, but instead of just like them talking on stage, it could be topical. So it's like I want to be able to do live stream shows. So it's like I have the Elgato stuff. So it's like we could set up the cameras to have a multiple.
Doesn't
camera
like Tested do that kind of stuff too?
Yeah.
Right, where it's like they'll do like a topical thing, but then also be like a show like.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of crazy. There's a channel. I'm surprised Adam actually knew what they are. It's Funhouse.
No,
it's a gaming
I'm
channel.
So bad at these.
No, it's fine. Actually, my buddy Steven showed me them, and they're like a gaming channel. So what it is like 4 or 5 guys. Sometimes it's just less or more. And one of them's playing a game, multiple playing a game against each other, and it's mostly the commentary, which is like the thing you tune into. Sometimes they'll just chop up the game, and it doesn't even matter.
It's just like there to be there.
It's just there to be there. But they have a lot of different. They have a podcast that they call Dude Soup.
Okay.
Their whole channel is called Funhouse, but they're owned and run by. Well, they're not owned, but they're under the Rooster Teeth, which is Rooster Teeth has a lot of different channels in it.
Gotcha.
It's like the Disney Channel kind of thing where they have all the different shows, but they're not Disney. They're like gamer and like they have some.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah,
I feel you. Okay.
But they have a lot of different shows on it, and that's kind of what I want to do. But I don't want to like compare them to them because I don't want it to seem like I'm like ripping off.
Oh yeah.
But essentially, it's like it'd be really cool to have like some game shows, have some like bits and skits, like literally like
it's like you're like a network basically. At that point.
A network. Like that's what I want. It goes into the director or the producer. I want to be able to produce content for other people. It's like say you have your channel. Obviously, you're doing fine on your own. But it's like, what if you made some short skits that were centralized or geared towards content that has a general group, and it's like we all collaborate. It
feels like a Smosh, where like they do like skit comedy, they'll do like live shows, do vlogs, they'll do all that kind of stuff, and it's like their network is Smosh, but it's like they have a bunch of stuff underneath. And
exactly.
It's like, gotcha.
Yeah, that 100%. Is my goal. So it's like right now I'm working on my show, and it's when you watch it, it's not really like a show. It starts off with I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, don't spoil it.
It's neat. It has like a couple different things. So it has random moments of just like a random music video will be in there.
Okay.
It'll have like commentary, so I'll either just be like at my desk and I'll be like, "What's up?" And then and then I'll also have like I was saying, with someone will be recording me, and then I'll be talking. I'll just kind of explain some things, but then I also want to like throw in other skits. So it's like I'll be like, I had like this segment where I'm reviewing a particular subject. Again, no spoilers.
Okay.
The only issue is sometimes when I do like those vlogs or if I'm like doing the thing, sometimes I realize it's a little really boring, but I've set it up enough. So it's like, so it's like in those moments, I'll like have it cut, and then it'll be like kind of like a projector is like paused. And it's like that busy. And then you'll see me like pop in on a green screen, and I'll be like,
gotcha.
Yeah, this is really boring. I'm just going to fast forward.
I like that.
Like stuff like that, like little things that just take extra time to make. But it's like, it's just a little bit of everything. Like I want to be able to put like music videos in it, and make it like an SNL.
Okay.
Have
That's what I was
have there
thinking.
be different hosts.
Yep.
Have there be different just types of content.
I like it because it's almost like it could be like a maybe it's not weekly, it's a daily thing, but it's like the idea that like you could like go to like one central thing and get everything from like funny skits, music to commentary on different stuff, like all kinds of stuff, like all in one house.
Essentially,
Boom,
what
right
it
there.
could be like, essentially it could be like you go to a particular channel,
Yeah.
and then you just have like a stream of content that's just going.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to run a live stream show where it's like we're either like talking about stuff, we're playing a D&D game or something like that,
Yeah.
and then it's like, or like doing the podcast, it's like you need to go to a bathroom break. It's like you cut to
Something else.
a pre-recorded 5-minute skit.
Yes.
To preoccupy
I know
time
exactly what you're talking about.
as you change the set or you get ready for stuff. I want to do like commentary for stuff. I want to do like reviews on different things, but I want it to be like topical and skits and.
I like that a lot because
yeah.
it does. It feels like SNL meets like almost like a Monty Python, Key and Peele, like all those combined with like social media commentary. You know what I mean? It's like all kind of like jumbled.
It's like SNL meets Key and Peele meets Tosh.0.
Yeah, right. That was one I was thinking of. Tosh.0. Okay,
yeah.
100%.
And that's essentially it. Whereas like there could be like a host, like you could do it live. Like you could do the entire thing live on Twitch, where it's like you start off camera face, like you start off with like a bumper, where it's like you have some sort of intro, and then it cuts to someone
or a cold open.
Like or like it could be a cold open. Yeah, like you could just have a pre-recorded skit.
That'd
or
be kind
something
of cool,
like that.
actually.
And then it's like, and then you have someone hosting it, and then they're like, "Hey, that was a whatever,"
Yeah.
and then it like at the bottom you can have like a live Twitter feed.
I like it.
And then you can cut. This is pretty much exactly what Attack of the Show is, but it was canceled because that.
Who cares? Yeah.
But that was also like back in 2010. I'll send you some clips of what the show is.
Yeah, do that.
Like they have a thing called Around the Net, which is pretty much like.
Maybe I have seen them. I don't like. I feel like Attack of the Show, like it feels so familiar. Yeah.
Like I love that.
It wasn't on Rev 3, was it? You know Revision 3? Film Riot used to be on it, and then they had I feel like they had stuff like that on there.
They probably did. But yeah, that's essentially like I love that title too, just Attack of the Show, because it's like you can put anything on there.
Right, like it literally is like.
Now they do like live Twitch stuff. It's just called Attack, I think. Yeah. But essentially, like I wanted to make a channel. Like I want to make, what's it called? The like a company,
like a network.
Like a network.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, it's like you're like NBC. Like you own all these little things underneath, and they do all their own thing, and it's like all combined.
That also
sometimes.
runs into like the issue of people making content for my content.
Yeah,
which gets tricky because I would love to be able to have like bring in like imagine just having like a show where like you just have guests come in and they just like they run the show. Like there's a different I think there's a podcast out there where someone else hosts it and the other person just sits back and relaxes the whole time, but they just came up with the show.
You probably could. Oh, excuse me. You probably could. I think it would just be more of incentivizing the idea of like, okay, like why would someone want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, what are they going to get out of it? Like, okay, well, you know, if you have a cool like idea, like it's the idea of like, okay, you can put it. It maybe doesn't fit like anywhere else, but it can fit here. Yeah. You know, like I think that's the idea.
I want it to be the community, like. I've already said this bunch. Adam said, "Create the community." Like, like literally the title, like the company could be something called like, the community foundation or something.
Yeah,
like that.
By the community. Yeah, like something where it's like, oh, it's by the community. Like
but I want it to be like funny because I know that this is like a more serious like thing of interviewing people for about like what they do for a living. But I'm not like I'm super about just like comedy and like random stuff. And it's like there's a little bit in like the other podcast where Adam said we should probably cut it just because I said like a joke based on like
which wait is that live now officially?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say
I'm not gonna release
till after. Okay, I was gonna say I'm like hold on, if I'm not missing out here. No I don't think so, but okay,
but it's like I'm gonna cut it just because he asked me to, which if there's there wasn't anything that we would cut through. I mean I'm gonna have to cut a little bit from the one that me and Adam did just because we went on tangents, and not necessarily that they don't matter, that they're just random tangents. It's just that we would start to go a direction and then forget about it. And I hate when people do that on podcasts.
And then you never solve the initial question. You're like, oh no, like.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to cut some stuff like that, cause I know I hate when someone's like talking about a topic. I'm like, oh yeah.
And then they get sidetracked. And
then I never hear. I'm just like, what? Goddamn. What did they? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I said like a joke where like I said someone was calling me an insult name, and I'm just like, and then I was like, I just like was like, yeah, I am. What are you gonna do about it? And then, but like I just said it in a weird way. So like, I'm gonna cut it just because it was the first podcast. But this is the second one.
You do whatever. Like if I dead stare at the camera.
Yeah, like I don't want to. That's another thing. I don't want to limit myself for the protection of other people. But obviously, I do not want to be insensitive because I feel like I'm a very open person. Like I have like people should be how they want as long as they're not hurting anyone.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
But I want it to be that open source.
Yeah.
That content where
could be anything.
Where anything will be there, and if anything is insensitive, we will donate personally money towards a charity that affects or something like that. It's like I was saying, like I will spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on stuff just to be able to have the content that I like it.
I don't know,
I like this.
I'm down.
Like I'm willing to not make a dime on something just as long as I get to have fun doing it.
No, that's the thing. I think if you're having fun, who cares?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So it's like if I get demonetized, it's like on YouTube, it's like I'm going to use whatever content I want. I'm not making money on there anyway.
Yeah, right.
You can't make any content. You can't make money until you have over 10,000 subscribers.
Not only that, you barely make anything.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, I remember when I first started getting traction on my channel and it was like, wow, I've got a couple thousand like views on my channel. I was like back when you just would make money and it's like, oh, it's 70 cents.
Literally, I think I looked at it in the course of my entire YouTube career for the tutorial channel. I made like $1,000. That's
you've had that since like what, 2010?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's 8 years. Yeah.
Wow. Like recently, now that it's gotten a little bit better, like I can make like $100 every like 2 months.
Well, now you don't meet the criteria anymore.
No, I have the view hours though.
Oh, you do?
My view hours are enough. Yep.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I have the view hours enough, but my subscribers aren't high enough. But it won't matter. You have to either get the subscribers or the view hours.
I didn't know about the either or.
It's like 40,000 view hours or something, and
Imagine
I have like 65,000. So it's like, yeah.
Imagine having 10,000 subscribers, but you only have like 12 hours of watch that.
No, thankfully, like I feel like it depends on the video. Sometimes I'll get like a bunch. Like I had a huge surge in subscribers and views recently, which was sick, but I made like no money still.
Yeah.
It's like whatever. Like,
yeah.
Just can't get past it, but.
Yeah. That's insane.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So was this episode 2?
This was episode 2.
We wrapped it?
So for those of you listening, he just did the double mahalo.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that mahalo?
I have no idea.
The
I would say hang 10.
Hang 10, yeah.
It's actually like, it's a hang 10.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. Way too much for my own good, I think, but whatever.
That's okay.
Cool, man. This has been fun. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I was saying, I wish we could have recorded the last conversation.
Right, I know.
But
but I'm glad. I think it was cool because I think we got a little more like focused, you know what I mean, on certain things. And I think it was kind of cool because you got to ask me questions. I got to ask you questions too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there was things I wanted to know and like talk about.
It was super weird in the beginning. I definitely went on weird tangents where I started to say something and I like switched it up mid-sentence just to like have it make sense because I don't want to have too much hang time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's one thing where it's like when I have my other videos, it's like if you watch like any of my other videos, I'd cut. I would literally just go through it like on my show that I'm making.
Yeah.
The starting thing, I would literally I wouldn't look at the footage at all.
Breath.
I would
the waveforms?
I would look at the waveforms and I just cut out all the spaces and then I'd watch it back. I'm like, okay.
I do the same thing.
And then I do the thing where I'll extend one clip and then I'll start the audio underneath another one.
It's like an L cut or J cut, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Just which Amir actually he picked up on and he was just like, is that like a certain thing you're doing? And I'm just like, nah, it's all manual. It's like, just take the time.
I like it though.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Which is insane. I'll have to, I mean, I'm going to link like everyone's stuff and whatever, but I'll have to show you Amir's.
Stuff. Oh, was he the one with like the green screen, like on his shirt? Like, yes, you did show me that. That stuff was crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
That stuff was so funny because oh man, what did he have on his shirt? He had like something on his shirt in green screen.
He does.
It was so funny. That was killing me. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I can tell you about my project off air.
Let's do that. And I'll just give the mic on.
Yeah. See you later.
All right, that's it. Have a good one. All right. I'll probably do some outros or something like that after.
Yeah, I want to like wave. I feel like obligated to wave. See you later.
Bye, people that are watching on video.
Cool.
All right. Ooh, my ears hurt.
I know. I'm like deaf now.
It's so weird. I forgot I had this hat on.
I know. Me too. And then like I went to like itch the back of my head and I was like, What? Like,
Actually, you look weird without the hat on.
I know, now I do. I have like no head.